Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2 still. The date is the date is 2:00 p.m. June 23rd, 2019. Guess where I'm live streaming from? You probably already know if you clicked in. This is my main channel, and I got my live stream back. That's why I'm smiling right now. I'm coming to you guys with some important information. I'm trying to, I don't mean to insult anybody by laughing or smiling, because the Kyle from like 2 years into my knowing that I've been targeted would be really upset with me. But everything's so bad that I've got to laugh and smile, or I will crumple into a pile of bones and flesh and not ever be able to move again. So I hope that I don't offend anybody, because I know a lot of people are going through a lot of pain out there. But I do think about that. I jump onto I'm happy that I got my live stream back, but most of the laughter is nervous. Is like, this is so effing insane that I'm. It's just, I don't know how to act. So I just wanted to explain that y'all may be seeing me more. I may become the Joker. I mean, not violent, but I may, just start laughing hysterically because the world is so effed up. I'm going to try and kind of calm down. I've got some really important information for you guys today. Let me go ahead and open up my chat room. Anybody coming in, welcome. Welcome. I got my live stream back. I'm going to be putting out a lot of important information. Have some very, very important information on the 2019 Directed Energy Summit from BoozeAllenHamilton. And I think the information can kind of let targeted individuals know, because I think there's still confusion about like who's doing this or what it is. And I want to get us as close as I can, in this Directed Energy Summit. They're not going to do a presentation and say, well, we're using these microwave weapons on innocent citizens, to keep up with Russia and China. But they do say stuff like, well, we're doing a lot of things to research non-lethal weapons for our Department of Homeland Security operations in the United States. So they say stuff like that. So let me go ahead and open my chat room. Anybody coming in, welcome. I hope that you are finding some peace and healing in this. I'm looking for a lot of peace and healing, finding some. The fact that this torture just goes on and on and on, and then, like, I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you quickly, and I may save the detailed story for another day. But you guys know about the gang stalking, and it's just like, the torture's so bad in my body, like I'm having trouble just thinking and getting up and doing things. And then it's like this family that lives in my condo, who they had shown up, like the guy is ex-military. He hangs out with all the other ex-military guys in the condo. He has a wife and a kid, and like they kind of would walk out at the same time as me, but then that kind of stopped. And I thought that, I was like, maybe they figured it out. Maybe they figured out that something's wrong here. But a couple of days ago, and then I have gang stalking all the time, kind of around the condo, and then vehicular stalking, which I might be live streaming, from my car some. To get some of that, or edit. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out things. But this lady who's married to this ex-military guy, like, she drove in when I was walking my dog with one light and almost hit me the other day, and was just like looking at me like she wanted to kill me. And I don't even know her. And this is like, and I'm like being tortured. My spine hurts. Like I can barely walk. And this lady's looking at me like I need to die. Like I did something to her. And it's like all the time, that kind of stuff. So I want to juxtapose that, what we really go through as innocent citizens with directed energy weapon torture and gang stalking. And I want to show you these a-holes at this BoozeAllenHamilton summit, where they have presentations about directed energy. They're trying to drum up investors, and they're trying to let people in the military, and then in these contractors that are private corporations working as military operations. They're trying to like drum up support. And then they have all these senators and representatives, all of them Democrat, which I'm not trying to insult Democrats here because I know there are some good ones, but it's just really weird how every congressman and senator who's part of the directed energy caucus is a Democrat. And that's just, it's very, 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 very strange. But let's get to some of that information because I don't want to make it long today. Got my shirt on. Stop gang stalking crimes. Become aware. Empower your world. I'm reading it backwards. It's showing up backwards on my screen. Directed energy weapons used on targeted individuals. Learn the truth. It's stopgangstalkingcrimes.com. This is Terry's website. I haven't talked to him in a while. I hope he's okay. It says ask for flyers down here. So go to stopgangstalking.com and check it out. See if you can get a shirt. I might try and set up, you know, trying to get shirts out there or something like that pretty soon, so we can all wear these things, and it can be maybe a conversation starter in our communities. You know, the people who gang stalk us, instead of, because that's the thing, that's the hardest thing for me. It's like, if I walk up to this lady and I say, listen, there's like community watch programs, we call it gang stalking, the innocent citizens who it's happening to, and really the people like me who are being gang stalked, you're gang stalking me. You know, we're being hit with directed energy. We're being hit with neuro weapons to like crush us, to hurt our nervous system. And then you're harassing, thinking we did something wrong. She wouldn't be able to believe that. It's too convoluted. I mean, so they've set up this complicated system. However, if we do wear some shirts and stuff, you know, that would just show them, that would just have the information. So you don't have to say anything to these maniacs gang stalking. You just wear a shirt and they can look at it and go look it up. And you don't have to like, you know, because it's just like they're not going to believe it. Or even if they do believe what you're saying, they're going to deny it, obviously. So it's this thing that's set up where nobody can talk about it. However, people go strong, and, you know, targeted individuals are trying to do activism to stop their families from dying. And then these like just retarded people, just really retarded people who gang stalk, they're going hard. You know, they're trying to protect their communities, but they're idiots and they're actually destroying their communities. So, so that's why I laugh, because it's so insane. It's so insane. So insane. Okay. So now that I got that out, I'm happy to have my live stream back. Thinking, you know, I need to do some better videos and get the information out there. But I got a lot of information today. So let me stop talking. Let me play some music that I won't get in trouble for. While I open up my chat room. This is called Sydney Skyline, guys, and it doesn't have any words or anything, but I can't chance, you know, losing my live stream again. So I'm gonna play this while I open my open the chat room, and welcome anybody coming in. Hey, Native, how are you doing? Yes, got my live stream back. Party time. I was going to drink some beers, but it happened today, like on Sunday, so I thought I shouldn't drink beers this early in the day. And I don't have any beers, but I'm going to open my live. I'm going to open the chat room on my tablet, so I can kind of look at it, see what you guys, if y'all have any questions or anything when I'm going through the information. And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're doing well, Native. This stuff that I'm taking, if you go to Doc of Detox, like Doc of Detox, and they have a product called Divine Vine, but they also have a product called just Pineal, like Pineal, and it does feel like I'm getting some good detoxification of heavy metals. I'm gonna like take it I'm gonna take it every day and see what kind of results it gives me. And then, you know, I'll let y'all know. But I'm trying a lot of different stuff. I don't know. I'm also looking into if y'all know about Velostat and Linkstat. Like because I've already gotten rid of my Faraday bunker, I need something to replace it with. And I'm going to look into, I've got some Velostat, which is a carbon-based material. And you can take this Velostat, it's really cheap, and you can buy it in sheets. And you can like sew it into your, like if you have a blanket or something. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Velostat. Also Linkstat works, but I think I'm going to use Velostat. And I'm going to get a lot of this carbon-based material. And I'm going to I'm going to build basically something that I can put around my head, like over my head and around my head, and then kind of cover me, and then put some Velostat and like a blanket underneath. So I'm gonna like try some defensive things that I'll show y'all. It's pretty cheap. Velostat's pretty cheap, but I don't have I gotta like kind of plan out like doing like one thing a month maybe, or one thing every 2 months, because I got no monies. I got no monies. I want that off. Okay. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into this information. I'm probably going to go through some other presentations on my live streams. I was thinking about just getting important points that these senators were talking about, but they're only 10-minute presentations. So I was like, well, let's just go through them, and I'll stop them when I want to say something. It gets us kind of close to. I mean, they're not saying, "Hey, we're experimenting with these weapons on people." I mean, they're not going to say that. That's like uber classified. Some of these people that even work for BoozeAllenHamilton. Is that BoozeAllenHamilton? My attacker's just really fucking up my head, really effing up my brains. Yeah, BoozeAllenHamilton. Some of these people that work for BoozeAllenHamilton, even on directed energy weapon systems, they don't know about the non-lethal weapons experimentation on humans and the neuroweapons experimentation. It's like compartmentalized, so you can have a lot of people in BoozeAllenHamilton working on directed energy weapon systems for like missile defense or shooting down UAVs and that kind of stuff, which I do want to talk about the Iran incident but I'm gonna wait, maybe tomorrow or something, because Iran is a targeted country. You can take our situation as a microcosm. We're targeted individuals in our communities, right? Lies are told about us. We're hated. People don't even know what's going on. Iran is a targeted country, and they've been planning on attacking them for a long time, which it's really, really surprising that Donald Trump did not bomb them and kill 150 people. That's like really hopeful to me. I don't know if that's like a double fakie or something like that. I know that there's a lot of problems with Donald Trump, but that was really surprising in a good way. I'm usually surprised in only bad ways, from what's going on in our system. But Donald Trump saying like, I didn't want to kill 150 people in Iran because they just shot down an unmanned drone. I was like, wow, that's really awesome. And surprising in a very positive way. Yeah. Okay, I gotta check that, Native. Native, you say, did you get the 2 articles I sent to your email? Just food for thought, but not an absolute. I gotta check my emails, Native. I haven't checked them in a while. But let me kind of get to some of this information. It's only me and you in here, Native. I hope more people like find out that I'm doing live streams again. But let me go ahead. I've been kind of blabbing, and I'm just going to go through and just if people come in and want to get this information or they want to watch it later, that's fine. But I just really, really want to go through this because it can help targeted individuals to know, who this is coming from, how it's all happening. So this is the BoozeAllenHamilton 2019 Directed Energy Summit. And I covered the one from last year, 2018. I'm not showing this to, I'm not showing this to be like, oh, this is a great thing. like this is awesome. I'm showing this as just proof, proof of who is working on these weapons, of how they're trying to promote these weapons, of what they're telling people to get them more involved and get more senators and congressmen, lobbyists trying to get senators and congressmen trying to make bills to get more money to these contractors to actually build these weapons, to manufacture these weapons, do research and development on them. So it was from March 20th to March 21st, 2019. The Ronald Reagan Building. So update, the 2019 Directed Energy Summit videos will be available soon. Check back for updates. Directed Energy, it's time to deliver. The 5th annual 2019 Directed Energy Summit is co-sponsored by BoozeAllenHamilton and the Center for Strategic and Budgetary Assessment, CSBA. Discussion will focus on the urgent need to acquire directed energy weapons to help counter significant existing and emerging threats. And I want to read this. I'm going to show two speakers. I'm going to show their two Democratic senators. This is one of them. His name is Michael Heinrich, I think. Martin Heinrich, Senator Martin Heinrich from, he's a Democrat from New Mexico. He's the founder of the Directed Energy Caucus. So there's a Directed Energy Caucus in the House of Representatives. I think some senators are in it too, but he's also the Senate Armed Services Committee. He's on that too. So they decide, they work out budgets and decide how much money they're gonna send to these contractors, to the Department of Defense, and then the Department of Defense sends the money to the contractors and subcontractors to manufacture the weapons, to work on prototypes, and to actually do research and development with the weapons. And then the other guy, I'll show you all the other guy too. I'm going to show a bunch of these, and y'all can kind of go and just like look at all these presentations. They have one that I'm looking for, and I'll show y'all when I get there. Let me go ahead and read this. So this is from BoozeAllenHamilton. This is an impact report from 2017. Directed Energy Science Nonfiction. Science Nonfiction. Using lasers as a blowtorch. Learn how we're doing that and more. So from the devastating alien heat ray in H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds to the handheld phasers that Captain Kirk and crew wield in episodes of Star Trek, laser weapons have long captured the imaginations of science fiction writers, directors, and dreamers. These concepts are no longer the stuff of science fiction. BoozeAllenHamilton engineers and scientists are helping the Department of Defense develop and operationalize directed energy weapons with numerous advantages that complement traditional kinetic weapons. So that's another term you guys will hear when people with these contractors and stuff talk about directed energy weapon systems. They'll also say kinetic weapon systems, because kinetic energy is directed energy. Directed energy has the potential to profoundly reshape the 21st century battlefield. Operators can use high-powered microwaves against electronic targets without the enemy ever being able to determine the source of the damage. Does that sound familiar, target individuals? And I know a lot of targeted individuals, y'all are like, I was like this too. I was like, I know where it's coming from. I know it's my neighbor. He's ex-military. He's the one doing it. It's the only thing that could be happening. And I know a lot of other, target individuals think that it's somebody probably in your neighborhood, maybe some crack addicts down the street or something like that. I'm not criticizing anybody, and anybody speaking out. Like, I love them. I love their courage and everything, but it's not just some people on the street. These are like, they've got to have certain clearances to work with these integrated directed energy weapon systems. So it's most likely somebody in your state, but they're probably in a contractor or subcontractor building. And I'll show you a little picture of somebody, actually a military type, using directed energy weapons, the type of monitors they use. But it's probably not going to, the people using directed energy on us to torture us, it's probably not going to be exactly the same, but I'll show you all that. It's a really good picture, like kind of a demonstration of how some of the monitors could work. Now, I mean, I know there are handheld weapons and stuff. So you know, somebody in your neighborhood could be aiming a handheld weapon at you for part of it, for angles of it. But to work these systems that they're manufacturing at these contractors, you know, people have to be like really trained and have certain clearances to do it. Threats are evolving that directed energy better allows us to address, including boost phase defense against advanced intercontinental missiles, armed drones, hypersonic weapons, and swarming tactics, says Booz Allen Executive Vice President Trey Overing, who's the senior executive for the firm's directed energy business. What was once considered a science project is now a necessity, and our continued military superiority depends on the outcome. What is directed energy? Directed energy weapons transmit beams or fields of concentrated electromagnetic energy at a target. So when I say like they're creating electromagnetic fields around our head, and then they have like a bidirectional stream of other electromagnetic energy that's working with that field, you see, so they're saying it right there. It transmits beams or fields of directed energy. So there's some good proof from BoozeAllenHamilton right here. The awful thing is, but it's good evidence, there are many other contractors like BoozeAllenHamilton, but BoozeAllenHamilton is the biggest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's bigger than Lockheed Martin with directed energy. I think it's like not as big as Lockheed Martin in everything, but I think that it's actually it takes more directed and gives more to subcontractors directed energy weapon contracts. So it's the biggest. BoozeAllenHamilton is the biggest, I would say, global. It's a global contractor. So they actually probably work with other countries that are allies with the United States. They probably work with their military industrial complexes too. There are two basic categories of directed energy weapons: high energy laser and high powered microwaves, and each have different potential applications. High energy lasers can cause physical damage to targets like small boats, munitions, or drones from the ground or from the air, according to Joe Shepard, who is director of BoozeAllenHamilton's directed energy business. The same technology can be used to track, illuminate, and dazzle. And I think, Native, I think you were saying something about that. You were talking about the dazzler, which, can be done to us, can be done to actual targeted individuals or people surviving this, like blinding us with light. I've never experienced that. I experienced like, microwaves to my spine, my brain and stuff, and a lot of other things, but I've never experienced a dazzler. But a lot of targeted individuals have told me that they've experienced that, causing a temporary loss of sensor capability in a cloak of brilliant light, he adds. Alternatively, high-powered microwave uses high-powered radio frequency energy to disrupt the target, depositing electrical pulses or heat to cause an adverse effect. It can be used to disable vehicles and vessels in counter-infrastructure operations by shutting down electronics. While usually less physically destructive than a high-energy laser shot, high-powered microwave weapons can give warfighters a tactical edge by eliminating the enemy's ability to use critical equipment and offering non-lethal engagement to de-escalate conflict. So what they're talking about is torture, non-lethal engagement. That's how they would probably describe what they're doing to us. Even if they're torturing us for our whole lives and it damages our brain, it causes brain injury, it's non-lethal. Because if you do it to somebody for like a day, they can heal up and it's non-lethal. Do it to somebody for their lifetime, you cause a lot of brain injury and stuff like that. So they're trying to get away with semantics. Oh, this is non-lethal. It's a way to take care of targets, human targets, non-lethally. But they're talking about hitting somebody for like a couple of seconds, right? They keep these things trained on individuals, like just the targeting the head and the body all the time. It's going to be very, very lethal. So they're liars. So that's a main point I want to bring across. In everybody who I'm showing, I'm trying not to be snarky here. I'm having a hard time, guys, because I just want to present this information. But all these people doing these presentations are liars and traitors. They're treasonous. They're liars. They're traitors. They try and make this narrative because when they're getting this information out to like soldiers who they want to maybe come into these contractors and help them and contract with them and all this crap, they like try and put it in this narrative of like China and Russia are really advancing their weapons, so we really need to do this and we need to get communities involved. You're going to see this one senator from Ohio who's like, we need to get communities excited about directed energy weapons and all this BS. I mean, they are snakes. These people are murdering snakes, and they are in the highest offices of the land. Yeah, so yeah, that's what's going on. Don't know what to say to that, but we just have to keep fighting. There's a lot of money behind this. That's why I have a hard time showing this stuff, because I'm like, would it be better for us to just think it's like some crackheads down the street? Would that be better for our psychology? But it's not. We have to know the truth. We have to know who's doing this. You know, we have to know who to complain against, and most importantly, who to sue, because we all really deserve. I mean, we deserve, like, these people who are doing it, they deserve to be hung. But we also deserve like millions of dollars in damages, you know, for the years of torture that's being done to us. That's why they don't use volunteers to experiment with these non-lethal weapons. I'm not going to call them that. What they use, these microwave weapons and neuro weapons, they don't get volunteers. Those volunteers would sue the crap out of them. That's why they do it secretively to their own citizens. All these countries, China, Russia, I think Israel doesn't. I think Israel actually probably experiments on Palestinians and not their own citizens. But other countries, you know, experiment on their own citizenry to keep hidden their advancements that they're making. But even that is a lie, because you know, there is competition between like Russia, China, and the United States and other countries and stuff like that, the UK. But there's cooperation. The reason why they say there's like a competition between Russia, China, and the USA is to get soldiers to say, okay, well, I can kill this family or torture this family because it justifies that we have to build up these weapons just to help our country against these other countries. So that's the kind of lie lower down the food chain that lie is told. But in reality, there's more cooperation globally to get these neuro weapons and these directed energy weapons going and being the new weapon, being the new nuclear bomb, basically. So then they can make people really scared, because that's what our leaders in quotation marks, the people at the top of the pyramid, that's their job, to make us scared, to kill some of us, a lot of us off, to keep the fear going, So this is going to be the new fear weapon. That's one thing that we do kind of, it's very hopeful for us who are like, people don't understand directed energy weapons. They don't understand how targeted individuals are being targeted. They're going to want people to know about this soon. Because they want to be scared of them, you know. So that's, I guess, kind of a hopeful thing, kind of a shitty thing. I don't know, but it'll probably happen soon, because they want to, you know, make people scared. So one of the most, okay, I read that with directed energy, you're talking a few dollars per shot compared to tens of thousands per shot for a kinetic weapon. Okay, so I guess they are different. Kinetic weapon systems, kinetic weapons. I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. Kinetic weapon systems are bullets and missiles and things like that. Sorry about that. So forget what I said a little while ago. Says Joe, and you don't have to carry gunpowder or bullets with you to reload. Beyond cost advantages, directed energy weapons offer the ability to turn the dial on lethality. And let me tell you guys, I hear this from my V2K a lot. Turn it up. Turn it up. I've heard it probably thousands of times from my V2K. Turn it up. You know, because sometimes my targeting, it's like turned down. Like my attackers do, they turn it down because they've been hurting me for so long. So they're like, I guess they're giving me a break or whatever their protocol is, but they can turn it down and they can turn it up. They can turn the amperage down and up. In many instances, a military operator may simply want to disable. They've been turning it way up lately. Because I've been putting out important information. and they really want to punish me and condition me away from speaking out. But I don't care. I think even in the people that are murdering me and the people in my neighborhood who don't know crap and want to gang stalk, it's really in all of our best interest to bring this out in the light. So, I mean, you can put that in your brain right now for targeted individuals. You're even helping the people that you're murdering. And I know that's a weird thing, but they're next on deck. This is all of us. I mean, this is the human race here. If we let these people run rampant with these neuro weapons and directed energy weapons, that's it. And that's it for the human race. Anything that, like, our free will, what God made us for, I mean, shoot. I guess I need to be more positive right now. And hey, S. Robles and Charles Hall. Yeah, Charles says I'm feeling bad, but it's normal. Yeah, that's like me too. It's like, how bad am I feeling? How am I feeling relatively, you know? I love you guys too. Oh, Nathan Roberts is telling Charles she loves him. I love you too, Charles. I really do, man. I hope you're doing, I hope you're finding some defenses and stuff. I'm going to work on some things, guys. So S. Robles says, in the beginning, I used to think it was my neighbors too. That's what they wanted me to think. But I realized after that it wasn't true. I believe it's government, military, and government contractors. Yeah, that's right. I mean, and it's like they're private corporations that are the contractors, but they're connected to the government. The government gives the Department of Defense and the Pentagon money. Like, it's not the only money the Pentagon and the Department of Defense get, but the government's taking taxpayers' dollars, you know, appropriating funds, you know, lobbying Congress to appropriate funds for this stuff. So government is funding a lot of the murder. It's being carried out, though, by private contractors to keep a distance on the people actually carrying it out. I don't even get it, because murder is illegal and torture is illegal, even if it's a private business doing it. But okay, but yeah, just, you know, to hide it, a private business doing it can hide it better than a government agency doing it. So they're not really worried about the real legality. They're worried about hiding it. Yet Native Interrupter is talking about the dazzler effect. Yes, they do it to my eyes, so I won't look into the sky. Yeah. See, S. Robo says, I realized through V2K how advanced their technology is, and it couldn't just be the average Joe across the street. Yeah, but the problem is that, and Native Interrupters, thanks. Thanks for saying I'm doing a good job. Yeah, I know. I've got some important information. I got some important information. My brain's just, you know, I really want to get this serious information across in an intelligent way, but my brain's so messed up. I mean, my thinking's been totally really messed up. But this doc of detox stuff, I'll tell you something weird, guys. Before I keep going, because I do have a lot of information. I'll just slow down and we'll get through it, because I'm doing a live stream, so I don't have to really worry about that. I'll tell you what, guys. I've been taking the doc of detox. It's called pineal, and I've been taking it for like 2 days. And I woke up this morning, and my memory is just horrible. It's horrible from actually the automated remote neural manipulation and just my brain being affected by microwaves. And I woke up this morning, and I remembered my bed from when I was in kindergarten, like my bed in my home, and how when my parents would try and wake me up, my bed would feel extra warm and extra good. And it was this memory from childhood that I had not remembered. So it's like, I thought that was a good sign, you know, because I find my mind very entrained and very narrowed, you know, to what my attackers want me to be focusing on, how they want me to feel. And it narrows down my thinking. And I'm like thinking about these things from childhood, which has not happened in a couple of years. So it's a very good sign. I think it's really, really important that we get heavy metals out of our system. And there are some things that I think will work the heavy metals out of our brain. Like when heavy metals go through the blood-brain barrier, I think they're there are supplements and things that can actually wiggle them out of there and get them out of your body. Now, I don't know if they can do it for the nanotechnology, or I know they can do it to nanoparticulates, because those are heavy metals mixed with like organic matter. But, you know, smart dust, smart chips, I would think that they can too. You know, I would think that they could wiggle those out of your system, get those toxins out of your body also. Let me keep going, guys. We don't think of directed energy. Okay, did I already read this? Directed energy as a replacement for conventional weapons, but as a complement. Incorporating directed energy can reduce cost and collateral damage, says BoozeAllen's Patrick Shan, who is focused on business development and acquisition for DE. Operators can use high-powered microwave against electronic targets without the enemy ever being able to determine the source of the damage. I mean, and that's why, you know, that's why they're targeting, you know, us with neuro weapons, with directed energy weapons. It's like, where is it coming from? You know, because they can use all these, you know, all of these, you know, devices, all like satellites, cell towers, drones, you know, ground radar, above the horizon radar, even things, there's even, you know, Gwyn towers and other things like Gwyn towers that can actually run electromagnetic frequency energy under the ground. You know, so it's like these grids set up that where it can come from a lot of different things, and they can like layer it. It just has to end. It's just I'd say it's like, I was thinking this morning, I was like, I always say it's like a #1 priority in the world. I kind of stick with that, but even if there's some really bad, like, you know, chopping people up genocides, and then you got satanic rituals, killing kids and stuff like that, I'd say this is in the top 3 priorities of our world to stop, right? At least in the top 3. But I would say #1, because you can't deal with any of those other problems if they're starting to they're pulling in so many people to damage their brains and you know, use neuro weapons on them so nobody can think. They can condition people to not care about things, or condition them to blank out or something when they hear a topic, which I think they're already doing with some of this. Like when you tell people about directed energy, I think that, like, they've kind of entrained my dad. They almost killed him with these weapons, but they've entrained him to have this very, very weird response when I try and start talking about this, a very agitated response. It doesn't seem natural. And I do love my mother and my father, and that will never change. And they've done the best they could for me, and I will continue to do the best I can for them. But these weapons are very, very powerful. They're powerful, but not beatable. I don't want to say stuff like that. You know, like, I don't want to say like, oh, these weapons, they're so powerful, we can't do anything about them. That's not true at all. Like, that is factually untrue. If anybody tells you that we can't do anything against these things, that we can't defend, don't listen to them. Listen to somebody else, because there's tons of things we can do. Yet for all these potential benefits, developing directed energy weapons isn't without technical challenges. Current DE technologies require packaging that is large, heavy, and requires significant amounts of power to fire. Much of the physics of directed energy are reasonably understood, and there's been significant progress in technology maturation. But the hardest part is packaging for the best possible practical and operational use. And they're trying to sell them in this, so that's why they... And listen to this. Okay, so listen to what BoozeAllen Executive Vice President Trey Overing says about directed energy. Directed energy is an inevitability. The question is not if it will be, but if it will be for us or for our adversaries. That's a very important thing that he says, because it's what they say. And I think my attackers are in this group that I'm about to talk about. But ex-military, ex-law enforcement, security industry that go and work for these contractors and subcontractors, they tell them, hey, you know, you're torturing somebody, you're killing somebody who's innocent, but we have to do this because Russia is advancing these weapons and China is advancing these weapons, and they're torturing and hurting their citizens to get ahead of the game, right? And there's other countries involved in that too. But I think that's a very huge lie, and I'm very sure that that's how my attackers act, because they will give me breaks from the torture. It seems like they weren't born to be serial killers. But that could, it's hard to tell what's part of the psyop of what they want me to believe about them and what's part of who they really are. But I just do get the feeling that they're ex-soldiers, I don't know, maybe ex-Army, maybe ex-Navy, maybe ex-Air Force, maybe ex-Marine, maybe ex-Special Forces, something like that. But I know it feels like they were once like good people. I guess I don't want to talk about, because they're not good people now. But it feels like there's a thing about like, well, we know we're killing this good guy, we know we're hurting his family, but it's a duty to protect the rest of the country, right? And that's a dangerous, dangerous belief. That's a dangerous belief. It can turn people who were once good into really evil people, that will do anything. So it's not a good thing. I don't know. Y'all talk about that in chat if you want to, about what you think your attackers are, if you want. It's very sad, because like, my attackers, like at the beginning, they psyoped and did this surveillance role play of like acting like they had something against me and it was personal. But then as I really figured out how this went, they kind of gave up that charade, and they would say things like, "We just got to do this. Like, it just doesn't matter. We've got to put him away. We got to get it done." So it kind of, the veil lifts sometimes from these people. If you stop going along with their psyops, they'll kind of be like, okay, whatever. We don't even know you. We don't really care about you, but we still got to do this, But some other people, it may be very personal. I don't know every protocol, or I don't know every protocol in every situation for this. So I read y'all, and that's my mom calling me. I got to answer this, guys. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay, I'm doing a live stream right now. Okay. Okay, how long will that take for it to bust? Oh, can I have it? Okay. All right, well, I'll just take it out and put it in the fridge. Okay. Okay. All right, love you, Mom. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Dude, that always happens. Like, I don't know if, I know that my mom's being targeted, my dad are being targeted. It just happens so much. Like, when I start doing something important, and she needs me to go take champagne out of a refrigerator at their condo and put it, or take it out of the freezer. It's just weird, Seems like with remote neural manipulation, they can get an impulse like, hey, you need to call Kyle, and it's always at a very awkward, inconvenient time. I hate this stuff. Okay, so let's go to these guys' presentations, y'all. Y'all can come read more about this, like about what BoozeAllenHamilton does, and I'll be putting out more stuff. I guess I really want to go into these contracts. I've made a lot of videos on them, but it seems like target individuals are still like, questioning who's doing it. A lot aren't. I think it's like human nature to kind of like, I see the people who don't know, or still kind of wondering who's doing this. But then there's a ton of target individuals. They've learned who's doing it. They're like, okay, we got that down. But I guess it's part of human nature to see kind of the negative sometimes. We've really got to adapt to that. We've really got to do some exercise. And I think my next video, guys, I found this thing about making the subconscious mind a lot stronger. And I think we do have to we have to be concerned about that, because when we go to sleep, I think our attackers are doing really many negative things to our minds, to our subconscious. And this video was saying that it's like, the subconscious mind controls like 96% of what you do in your life. You think that your conscious mind really controls a lot, but your subconscious mind controls a lot of how you feel and how you act and everything like that. So, but let's go to these presentations, guys. This first one, I'm gonna go to. Okay, I don't want to do Martin Heinrich first. I want to go to the other guy first. And you guys can come check them out. I'll probably go through some of the other presentations because they're not that long. And I just feel like we've got to watch. Like, I don't just want to put, when they talk about high-powered microwaves and stuff, you got to kind of watch the whole thing to listen to them give away things, because they give away things. This guy especially. But this is Representative Tim Ryan from Ohio. He's a Democrat from Ohio. It seems like the Directed Energy Caucus is all Democrats. I don't know what that means, but it's weird. So, and he's a member of the House Appropriations Committee for the DoD, but he's also part of the Directed Energy Caucus.
Let me thank Dr. Griffin for his remarks. I'm just sitting here listening to him. I feel good about the direction that the Pentagon is moving in. And Secretary Mattis, and the conversations that we've had with him, I think things are moving in the right direction. If I could say a couple of things early on about the current political climate and the importance of your activism and initiatives and lobbying on behalf of directed energy. But let me first just say, to kind of build on what Dr. Griffin was saying, there has been a concern in my office for almost my entire career. Watch
what he does, guys. Watch what he's doing here. Because who he's talking to are the investors. He's talking to the investors. He's talking to subcontractors. He's talking to military or ex-military who are interested in getting involved in this, or who are already involved in it. So listen closely to this narrative that he's trying to push. Fear. Fear. We need to fear what China's doing. We need to fear what Russia's doing. And then that makes these people who get involved, and especially if they're working in the programs that are experimenting on people. Now they're not there in these, this Directed Energy Summit. It is public and put on the web. So they're mainly talking about like high-powered microwaves taking down UAVs and lasers on boats and stuff like that. They're not going to come out and talk about the highly classified non-consensual human experimentation. However, how he frames this narrative of like China, wow, China is really ahead of the game and we've got to do this stuff. It pushes these people to justify things they normally wouldn't. So it's very important. I think a lot of these guys working in these programs, they're justifying it by that. I really think my attackers are. I've learned a lot about them, even though they don't tell me the truth about them. You just kind of learn about them from how they act. I don't know if people without Audible V2K might have a hard time understanding that, but I think people with Audible V2K that are targeted, they kind of understand what I'm saying.
The Chinese government in particular, and the Russian government more recently, of the long-term strategic plan that the Chinese government has on the economic, political, military front, coming directly to challenge the interests of the United States. We see it in my area of the country economically, in Northeast Ohio. We hear it often from businesses who are trying to compete in China with regard to intellectual property, copyright, other issues. There is a plan that they have that is long-term, robust, and we see it when we travel. We're in Africa, and we're hearing about Chinese bases in Djibouti and other bases that are going to be built. We see it with their relationships with African countries to try to get at the natural resources that they have in those countries, to make sure they're fueling the economic machine back in China. We see it with the bases, the islands that they're building that Dr. Griffin mentioned, and militarizing those islands to continue to project force out into the Pacific. We see it with their investments in submarines and cyber. There is a plan. And to those who don't think that the plan is getting executed or appreciated in some sense by the Chinese government, I think the move in the last couple weeks to say to the Chinese leadership that we're going to get rid of term limits because we want you to keep executing the plan should be a signal to all of us that we have a...
And it's kind of ironic that he says that, you know, like he's saying in politics in China, they're going to start removing term limits so that the people in office can carry out that plan. And it could be, you know, it could be a kind of a carry-on call for our United States to do something like that in politics. But the deal is with these contractors and subcontractors, you know, the heads of the CIA, the head of the Pentagon, and things like that. You know, the people at the top of the Department of Defense, they don't have term limits, and they have way more power than our politicians in America. And they have things set up like that in other countries. So these people who are really making these huge moves and making these huge decisions that really maybe even the president doesn't know everything about the moves that they're making, they don't have term limits. So they can do the most evil things and really F up and really do bad stuff. And it doesn't affect, they're not voted out, you know, because it's more like the head of a business and not a politician, right? So it's kind of ironic that he makes that statement.
Serious competition going on. And there are a variety of things that we need to do in our country. And part of it is, if I may say, that we've got to get the politics right. We have a very divided country, as you may have noticed. And it's the politics today divide us. We need to reestablish the purpose and have a purpose-driven politics, because purpose unites us where politics divides us. And we've got to find some common ground so we can get to some higher ground and do the kind of things that Dr. Griffin was talking about.
Sorry, I got to stop it. Like, I'm getting so angry. These people are insane. Like, they're insane. And I would guarantee you that this guy, this senator from Ohio, and the other senator from New Mexico, I guarantee you that they know that there's non-consensual human experimentation going on. They come out and they talk about directed energy and generalities, but they know that there are departments within, you know, BoozeAllenHamilton and smaller subcontractors under and other contractors that are doing what they would call it non-lethal weapons experimentation and research, right? But it's targeted individuals who have been hit with these weapons for so long, right? We've been mutilated with them. Our brains have been, you know, knocked in from this stuff. We know that that's a lie. These are very lethal weapons. It just depends on how long you target somebody with them. If you hit me with like a microwave for a day, right? Like, say my attackers hit me with a microwave for a day, the high-pitched sound for a day. Well, okay, big deal, non-lethal, right? But anything like that that can damage the body and damage the brain, it's going to be lethal if you just sit there and target somebody forever, and they know it. I mean, they know it. But to get the effects that they want and the right ground weapons and things like that, and other, like, many other angles, they have to torture people for their whole lives to just see what happens, right? to see what happens in some situations, to see what happens in somebody's body or their mind in some situations, to see what they can get people to do, like how they can affect their behavior. So to, you know, I think it's just a blatant lie. The non-lethal weapons, when they say that, it's just lying. It's just trying to keep it fluffy so that Americans won't get really distressed about it and won't do anything about it. And just keep it where it's like, oh man, these are really non-lethal and they're new and this is going to be great instead of using guns and everything like that. It's going to be a lot better, right? But we know as targeted individuals that's not true at all. When, you know, and well, the next guy, let's let this guy finish out because he says something really important. The next senator says some really important stuff too.
Expediting the process of the technological advancement. These are the kind of things that if we don't get the politics right, we're not going to get the process right. We're not going to get the reform right. We're not going to get the investment right. We're not going to get the budget right. And so we're all responsible as citizens to help make that happen. We're not going to agree on everything. But if the purpose is to create a strong, vibrant, robust United States, economically, militarily, culturally, socially, then we've got to come together. And we've got to realize that that purpose of creating opportunity for our people, for all the people in our country who want to work hard and play by the rules, should have an opportunity to advance. That's our purpose as a country.
Oh, okay. Hey, liar, what about me and my family? We've done everything right. We've done everything right. A lot of you guys in chat, you've never broken the law. Or if you did break a law, it was a small one. You didn't hurt anybody or whatever. You know, I smoked weed. You know, little things like that. My family's done everything right. So I'm not allowed to move forward. I got picked by a lottery system. You know, he's lying. It's not going to move us all forward. It's sacrificing a lot of innocent people, you know, for the good of the many or whatever kind of crap they want to believe. And I think in some respects, sometimes it's just like, you know, a lot of them don't even care about that. They're just like, we can do whatever we want. You know, we can hit people with these weapons. It's power, and we get to pick who's evil. We can take a good person. And it just, I mean, it's just like Iran. I've read about Iran. I've studied Iran. They don't hurt anybody around them. They haven't tried to go to war with anybody. You know, I really think that drone going down is an FF. I guess I can just say the word. I've got to, you know, get my videos and store them so then I can just say whatever I want. But it's a false flag, right? And it's very surprised what Trump did, but and I forgot my point on that one. But let's let him keep talking. He says something really important.
And that means in the field of the military that we focus on technologies like directed energy that have the potential to continue to protect our country. And I don't think I need to tell anybody.
You see how he looked down when he said that? I found that really just weird and telling. You know, when you tell a lie, you kind of look down. I want to show you all that again. It's just very weird. Just kind of caught my eye the first time.
To continue to protect our country. And I don't think I need to tell anybody in this room why robust federal investments into directed energy is absolutely critical to our national security. And no one can sit in classified briefings, as I have, and learn what our adversaries are doing right now and not feel a keen sense of urgency to invest more into these technologies. That's why I'm here. And
it's very concerning because, you know, as targeted individuals, people are being murdered by these weapons and our families are being hurt by them. You know, we're doing activism and trying to talk to senators and congressmen to get this to stop, right? We want to get this non-consensual human experimentation with directed energy weapon systems stopped because it's murdering us and it's treasonous. Now, these men and these contractors, they're trying to get the Senate and the House of Representatives to give more money to these programs, to say it's so important that we develop these weapons. So we've got a big, you know, two fists hitting each other right here. One fist is a lot bigger and has a lot of weapons and stuff, the military industrial complex, but we're trying to get these guys to stop all of this torture and killing. This guy, his role with the Directed Energy Caucus, he's not the head of it. He didn't found it, but he is on the Directed Energy Caucus. That's a caucus with senators and representatives, to get funding, to talk about budgets and everything, about how much money they're going to give to the DoD to give out in contracts to contractors and subcontractors and things like that. But they're talking about building it up, speeding it up, getting more money to it, and it's only fair. I think it's only fair, but they're treasonous and they're liars. He should talk about the human experimentation part. If they're going to ask for money and they're going to say, okay, Congress needs to put more money into non-lethal weapons, in quotation marks, directed energy weapon systems, integrated weapon systems, tell people in Congress, well, we've got to non-consensually experiment on a bunch of innocent people. Now give us money, and then see how they react. It's only fair, and this is a lie and treason if they do not inform the people in the House of Representatives and the Senate that they are torturing people, and we do not consent. People that they are torturing, our families, we do not consent. It's a lie, and it's treasonous if they don't relay everything that they're doing with these weapon systems. So it is treason. It is treason, no matter how many loopholes they want to write, or how they want to say, like, oh, well, we'll just tell them about the directed energy part where it's high-powered lasers hitting UAVs, and so we can protect our country and blah, blah, blah. To not give senators and senators and representatives all the information, I mean, that's treasonous. It's lying. I know that's like, everybody's like, yeah, duh, obviously they're doing that. But I mean, for real, none of these programs, none of these directed energy programs would have any money if they told, well, some senators and representatives will go along with it, but there'd be a lot that wouldn't, and there'd be a lot that would not.
And that's why,
I guess that's my naive, hopeful thinking, We've got to think the best that we can about some of these people in our freaking countries. They have a backbone, that they still have a soul, because we're going to need them. Like, we're going to need some people who are not directly targeted individuals who can, have the courage and the balls to stand up to this stuff, even when there's big money in it. Boy, I know y'all understand.
In budget hearings in my committee, that's why I'm a member of the Directed Energy Caucus, and why I tell my congressional colleagues about how important this is. And I want to say thank you to Congressman Lamborn, Congressman Langevin, who are doing a fantastic job with the Directed Energy Caucus. It's a great resource to me and my staff, and they are real leaders in this bipartisan issue. And I also want to mention the great work that Senator Heinrich and Inhofe are doing from the Senate Armed Services Committee in providing policy guidance and authorization for advanced DE systems. And I know we will be hearing shortly from some of the staff from that caucus. We have to keep U.S. technology ahead of the threats so that we can effectively counter threats across the spectrum versus trying to catch up. And I have to admit, and most of you probably feel the same way, that since sequestration, it too often feels like we are playing catch up in the United States. And that's what I mean when I talk about our politics.
See, that's if you look at the non-lethal weapons markets to 2025, the United States is the #1, and then Israel, and then China, and then Russia. So I think he's lying right there, but he's lying so there can be more, they can lobby more congressmen, to try and appropriate money to this stuff. They want more money to make the weapons, to make the contractors fat and happy, but really the United States isn't a #1 position with these technologies. I think they're scared that China is going to overtake them, because I think China is really grinding up its own people. They're really experimenting on their own people, and they're just very, very cutthroat and just not even really bordering on communism, but kind of communism and capitalism mixed, which is what a lot of what a lot of very, very left-wing people want for our country. But I don't think the United States is playing catch up. I don't know. You guys can maybe say what y'all think in chat, but I don't think that's true.
Got to get our politics right. We've got to find a common purpose of protecting the United States and increasing an economic advantage for our citizens. Directed energy can be an important part of this, and it can be an important part of the arsenal because of the potential to address wide range of threats ranging from nuclear, ICBMs, to hypersonics, to rockets, artillery mortars, to UAVs, and small and fast boats. Directed energy weapons have unique characteristics, including speed of light engagement, ability to replenish the magazine when you have a robust power supply. The summit will be covering important non-lethal applications today and the Homeland Defense focused session.
You hear that, guys? Let's play that again. It's a really important thing you just said.
Today and the Homeland Defense focused session. The summit will be covering important non-lethal applications today and the Homeland Defense focused session.
Right. Now, his statement right there, I kind of go back and forth sometimes because I don't want to believe it's as big of a nightmare as it is. And I'm like, well, you know, DHS fusion centers, they probably don't know that we're being microwaved and experimented on. And I've been saying that for a long time. Like, they you know, DHS, NSA, and so they probably don't know about this. But I think they do. They totally do. And not just him saying that, but for a long time, for a couple of years, my mind has been kind of changed on that. I think the DHS fusion centers know, the people that are at the top of them know exactly, you know, what's happening with us. And they know that we're, you know, being experimented on for non-lethal weapons production, and that's in quotation marks, for non-lethal weapons in quotation marks, production and manufacturing, but not, and that's just one angle because they're also doing, you know, using neuro weapons and everything to map the mind, to make AI better, and Dr. Horton says that a lot, so yeah, so I mean, that I'm trying to find that presentation. Really want to find that presentation, but I cannot find it, and I'm pretty sure it was a closed presentation. And I laugh because obviously, right, if they're going to be talking about use on human beings, they're probably going to have a closed presentation where it's not captured on video and put on the internet, right? They're showing these presentations on video on the internet because they're speaking about them in generalized terms, and they're sticking to the directed energy weapon systems that, you know, can knock down missiles and UAVs and things like that. But they actually did. They had presentations and workshops and things about the Department of Homeland Security using non-lethal weapons, right? So that can kind of help people who are maybe not targeted individuals and some targeted individuals to understand how this all goes. The gang stalking goes hand in hand with directed energy weapon torture, with neuro weapons experimentation. It all goes hand in hand. I think one of the biggest, you know, just watching other targeted individuals videos, and once again, guys, not criticizing anybody, because I've put a lot of my gang stalking, you know, tried to capture it on tape, on video. But I see it. I see how the optics on our gang stalking and our, you know, target individuals trying to show evidence. It's one of the main things used to discredit everything that we're talking about. Now, I don't know what to do about that, but we've got to be aware. Like, even the people who get, you know, hyper gang stalking and they're getting great evidence, it's still, for a non-TI to look at that, it really does discredit things. And I'm not saying people don't get evidence. I'm going to keep showing gang stalking. I mean, I don't care, but I'm just saying we have to be aware. that's a huge part of it. You know, it's a huge part of it to feed these security industries, to feed fusion centers and InfraGard and Community Watch, to feed them some meat, right? We're the meat that are feeding them, but also it has this other, you know, many angles of different functions. One of them being to discredit us, because when we're talking about like, well, I'm being gang stalked by all these people. My neighbors go out, walk outside at the same time. My neighbors drive, you know, and almost hit me with a one light car, and all this weird stuff's going on. Oh, and I'm being hit with neuro weapons. Like I have V2K and stuff. It's just it's like too much for people to comprehend. So and you know, please, I'm not criticizing anybody. I do it. I get my gang stalking on film, but I believe that it's just like it's something that a lot of people who are targeted, it's something they can show readily, and that's like me too. When I was doing the, you know, one light vehicles a lot and trying to show my vehicular stalking, it's something we can kind of grab onto. You know, but I think it's just it's really supposed to discredit us. But take that as you will. Everybody do what's in your heart to do with this, because you could be doing something that I'm not thinking of, and it could help us a lot. You know, no criticisms. I'm just saying the optics on us showing our gang stalking as evidence ain't good. It's not good. When I did it, and do it, it's not good. The optics on it aren't great. But I'm not saying to quit. You know, I'm not saying to quit doing that. I think we should just be aware. We should be aware of it and maybe have some tactics like Michael Barton's done a really good job with going out, and when he gets gang stalking on film, he edits it, right? I think that would be a way better thing for us to do, is to get dash cams and do everything. I know a lot of target individuals are already doing this, but I'm just kind of saying it for myself. I need to do it, and get a bunch of gang stalking tactics and like edit them into a video, just showing all of them, you know, showing the frequency of them, right? Instead of like driving around for a long time and saying, oh, well, that could be gang stalking. Oh, that's, you know, getting all of the specific, the best evidence that we can get, and then lining that up, you know, in an edited format, which I'm going to do some of that. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I need to work on. But I'm going to try and do that. So maybe I can show some examples. I think Michael Barton has some good examples too, but yeah, it's just like a lot of target I've seen lately where that's what they focus on. And there's just like, there's this one target individual that he went into Walmart, and everybody in that Walmart, you know, he put the camera on, he actually kind of harassed some of them. And that looks really bad for us. It gives them a lot of ammunition, the people who don't want this coming out. And yeah, like I say, I'm not criticizing anybody, but we do have to look at what's happening. We got to look at what our strengths are when we show this or when we show that. Are the optics good? Is that going to be something that normal people can digest, or is it gonna not prove anything to them, even if it's happening? And I definitely still get evidence. I'm going to keep doing it too. But we just got to look at these things and maybe look at how we can do them better. And, you know, sometimes I'm kind of like, F it. Who cares what people who aren't experiencing this think? We're going to get the evidence anyway, and just screw what they think, you know. So I kind of go between, well, we've got to really kind of take care of the optics on this so that we look good, so that we look like what is happening. Because this whole thing is about perception. Perception deception. I just made that up just now. Deceiving perception. Not only are we in an information war, we are in a perception war. So when somebody like, so I've you know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys go through this, and this is why, like that lady and that family, you know, after years and years of being tortured and brutally tortured that I've been, and I walk out one day and she's gang stalking even more hardcore because of some kind of lie that she heard, or because she needed money, because their family needs money or something like that. And it's just that to her, right, she may not know that I'm being microwaved and that I've been being tortured and fighting through this and putting out information for years and years and years. So to her, I'm just a loser without a job, and she's really angry at me, right? That's messing with perception in a way that it's like, not changing reality, but everybody sees that situation a different way, right? That lady sees me as like a jobless guy who maybe she wants me out of the area. She's heard bad things about me, and she has a child, and she thinks that I've done something wrong to a child or hurt somebody and just wasn't captured. But really, I'm an innocent guy. And I know all of you people in chat and probably all the target individuals watching this, you can relate to this. You know, I'm a good guy. I want what's good for my family, my community, being tortured to bits, but still trying to fight on and make something out of this to try and stop it. And these people that are gang stalking us, they have a totally different perception. So it's splitting people, splitting their perceptions, putting them in different realities, if you will. I mean, not for real, like not putting somebody in a different multiverse kind of crap, but like to where they see things so differently that they might as well be living in a different reality. And that's dangerous for humanity as a whole. When public is on the same page, they have the same information, and they all know what's true and what's not, communities are safe. People are safe. This is not to make our community safe. Factually, it is not. Factually, it's to destroy our countries, whatever country you're in. They're spending a lot of money for full spectrum dominance. They want to destroy any kind of good constitution or good rules that our countries have that keep people safe, and they want to restructure it, the people at the top of the pyramid, so that they can do anything they want. So they can even kill a lot of people, but if they destroy that country and then rewrite its laws, they'll make it okay to do these really bad things. And they're in the process of it. We're living in that time, you know.
Which I wish I could stay, but I can't. So take care of business. And I should also point out that my role on the Congressional Manufacturing Conference.
Steve Taylor just said something really interesting. He said they can send a mouse into an enemy stronghold and look through its eyes and procure intel 20 years ago. I think that's a good point. You know, I really believe that my attackers sometimes will remote neural monitor my dog, you know, to get a better visualization on me. I know they can look through walls and stuff like that with through the wall radar, but the more cameras or whatever remote neural monitoring of animals they can get on you, they can see more. They can get a clear targeting of you. And Native says they're not spending millions of dollars a year to fly those airplanes, helicopters, and military drones above us simply for intimidation. It's more than that. Aerial do. Yeah, I agree with you too, Native. I have a drone like over my parking lot all the time, like every night, and it's probably there during the day, but I can't see it. And we've got to realize that, you know, some of it I'll have flybys and it seems like a lot of intimidation, but some of those like unmanned drones and you know, some of the vehicles you're talking about, they're used for the grid. They're used for what's it called? Close gap, or when they have a gap in the attack, so they have a gap in the grid, they would use a drone, put it in a specific place so that it would cover that gap of targeting, right? So Native, you're totally right on that. Yeah, Autumn says yes, they all know about it, Kyle. Yeah, I agree. I try and keep a naive outlook on it. And, you know, sometimes that's a bad thing, but it's like I found in my life, when you give people the benefit of the doubt, when you think the best about a situation, it can change it, you know? So I think a lot of people think that I'm very, very naive, but I think we don't need to be naive in the way that we know what's happening. But I think we do need to be naive as looking at it like, okay, the situation's really bad, but there are some really good people, and there's a chance that if we keep the moral high ground, we show them that we're good human beings, that they won't justify it and they may come to our side, you know? So it's like that naivety where you know the situation's so horrible, but you really try and believe in people. Because sometimes people see that you believe in them, and they'll change. They'll be like, wow, somebody thinks I'm like that good. Well, I want to be that good, right? So I think it's like a kind of a thin line between naivety and hope, I guess. The Native Neuropter says, I see these aerial vehicles every day. Millions of dollars a year on fuel. Yeah, I'm sure. Does some of those drones not actually work on fuel? Do they work on electric motors? I don't know. The Native Neuroper says military drones, if not flown low, can hover in the air 60,000 feet, which means they could hover right above you and you would never see them. Yeah. I only see the one like out like way above my parking lot late at night. Steve Taylor says we are slaves to the Masonic elite, not the wannabes, but the true empire. Yeah. I don't know, man. I know that Masons are definitely involved in this stuff, but I wonder if the people like the 0.001% at the top of the pyramid, would they call themselves Masons, or are they just like Luciferian? I guess they would. I guess they would. They're in some kind of, either Kabbalah, Masonic, Talmudic, lots of different, like Satanism. There's lots of different cults. There's like a different flavor to try and recruit different types of people, right? Because some people wouldn't want to go into Satanism, but they become a Mason, and it's like kind of the same thing when you move up far enough, right? So XX, hey XX, and hey Steve, if y'all haven't ever been to my live streams, welcome. And I may just do some live streams where we just talk, I might start doing like a Friday live stream where I just have to kick back and drink some beers and we just all talk, trying to find things that because the negative information is just, it's driving me crazy, and it's like it seems like everything about this is really negative. So I'm trying to find some way to have informative videos intermixed into what I'm doing, but somehow have fun in a release. And I think I'm going to be doing that with, some spiritual information that I'm trying, spiritual information, how to strengthen our subconscious mind, like things like that. And I'm really going to try and balance those things out, because if we just look at like how bad this is, and oh look, I mean, all these people are being tortured and we're being tortured, and look, these people are trying to make money from it. It's informative, and we have to know that. But man, it just beats you down when you're already being beaten down by the torture, and then your attackers are doing these, weird things with your mind to make you feel like way extra negative too. So Steve Taylor says, this is Lucifer's planet. We are trapped. The amount of energy and money just to deceive speaks of trying to hide the real truth. We were created. And hey, Lynn. Lynn says, I'm good. God, I'm relatively good. Relatively. Just goes on so long, man. Like, I'm a strong guy, and I know a lot of you would know what I'm talking about. I'm a strong person, but when they're killing you in your sleep, I mean, when they're working on your brain and your nervous system in your sleep, it's like, unfair doesn't even cover it. Unjust doesn't even cover it. Those words need to be refined. We need new words for how bad this stuff is. And I used to say that a lot. That's weird, guys. I used to say that a lot a couple of years ago, and I forgot, and it just popped in my head now. I don't know. I'm trying to be very hopeful about this doc of detox, and I'm doing the pineal stuff, and it really feels like it's cleansing me, but I'm going through a cleansing process with it. And Autumn's really good. She knows a lot of stuff to detox metals, heavy metals from our body. So Autumn, I'm trying this doc of detox, and it's called pineal. So check that out, because I kind of want your opinion on it.
Is complementary to the Directed Energy Caucus and what you all here, with the help of Mark Neese, are doing to strengthen our domestic defense industrial base.
Domestic defense industrial base. So why would he say that the Directed Energy Caucus is involved in strengthening their domestic defense? Like, that's Homeland Security, deals with internal threats within the country, right? The ironic thing is that they are the internal threat. Like these agencies are the internal threat now. Everything is inverted. But they're trying to pretend that some of the public, some of the population is this internal threat. You know, we may become terrorists or something like that. I mean, I don't even know. I know that like the kind of the things, the list that I've read of the lies they tell about us, like I think pedophile is like number one, because then they can get anybody to hate you, right? And I have nephews and nieces, and I want to be a father. So I don't know if I want to be a father now, you know, going through all this. I definitely want a family. I don't know. I would maybe adopt, or I don't know. But anyway, I want it to be a father. I'm not sure about that now, but I know that that's one of the lies. You know, that you're a pedophile or you're a murderer. You got away with murder, or you have terroristic tendencies, or you do drugs, or just that you're a danger. You know, because of all those school shootings, you might be one of those people, right? It just like, you know, because the way, and this is just one example out of a million, right? Out of a trillion that targeted individuals go through, but how that lady looks at me, I'm telling you guys, like, I'm an empathetic person. Like, if I'm around a person, I can tell if they're just like, hey, what's up? Or if they think something about me. This lady, like, she's this guy, she's an Asian woman. They're, you know, they have a daughter. He's ex-military. I'm not sure what part of the armed forces he's. We say hey, like he says hey to me. It seemed like they had stopped, but she just recently started really gang stalking me again, and she looks at me like I've killed someone in her family. I mean, she looks at me like I've done the worst thing in the world. And then they have a child. They have a daughter, right? So in my mind, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what they told those people. You know, because if somebody has kids and then they hear this lie about you that you're like a pedophile or something, yeah, they're going to do whatever. They're going to gang stalk you and whatever. That's not justice. It's a lie. But it's like with this technology, you know, these people who are gang stalking, if you told them, hey, these are lies, right? I'm an innocent person. I haven't even had a guilty thought about children, you know, in my life. But if you tell them that, they're not going to believe that. And you know, guys, I don't want to go into my remote neural manipulation, but you know, so I'm not, my attackers do some very awful stuff where it's like the finger could be pointed at them. But that's the whole thing. It's so complicated, and people don't believe in this technology. So if you tell them, hey, I'm innocent, they'd be like, well, that's what a guilty person would say, right? So I think a good way to communicate with our gang stalkers is wearing the problem on our shirts, you know, so they can look at the words. Gang stalking and directed energy weapons are used on innocent targeted individuals. Check this website out. Check this, you know, YouTube page out. Check this out. So you don't have to say anything to them, because they're probably not going to believe you, or they're gonna lie about it. But I don't know. It kind of depends on how comfortable you feel about talking to complete strangers who are harassing you, right? Yeah, because some people do it very well. You know, they talk to people about it, and you know, people are like, "Oh, okay." You know, I don't know if the people like quit gang stalking them afterwards, but some people are pretty good at it.
It's also worth noting that the potential commercial applications for this could be great.
So you guys heard that, right? So we're talking about like the Google mind reading headset. You know, the thing that Facebook is doing. Lots of different companies, you know, using electromagnetic fields and things like that to read the inner voice, so you can type out things. I mean, it's here, guys. It's here. The consumer apparatus that you can put on your head and think in your inner voice, and it types out stuff. It may not, you know, we may not be able to buy it right now. Like me, I might not be able to go on the internet and buy it right now, but they've got it made. It's manufactured and made. You know, when they're going to put it out, I don't know. And if they have put it out, somebody correct me in chat. But that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the consumer. And how would, okay, so he's talking at the Directed Energy Summit. What's he talking about? Consumer products, right? Like, and this is for people who are not TIs. Why would he be talking about directed energy weapons and consumer products, right? Well, I mean, you see, we see all those things coming out. We see all those mind reading headsets. We see, certain things you can put on your window that can actually change your mood, can make your mood better. We see these applications on cell phones where you can turn on a frequency and it makes you feel less stressed, right? So we're seeing all these things, and that's the good, convenient. Look at all these. Well, how did they get that? How many brains did they mash up with microwaves and test with frequencies to come up with a stupid little device that you can put on your window that will make your mood feel a little bit better? And the answer to that is a lot of brains, a lot of innocent people's lives have been destroyed for that angle of in the consumer market, which is it's ridiculous. No human's life is worth a little contraption that you can stick on a window and feel a little bit less stressed out.
And again, these are things we just don't know. We saw it with GPS, what the end use is for our citizens in the private sector. And I also am interested in how we are going to be able to address the domestic supplier base gaps critical to the production of the directed energy systems. And the DE industrial base contributes to STEM job creation in places like Akron, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio. So again, we want to make sure that the investments we make from the Defense Appropriations Committee and through the military are a force multiplier through the commercial and industrial sector. That's the focus that we need. That's the purpose of our government, that giving the taxpayer the best bang for the buck. And as Dr. Griffin said about shrinking.
And there you go. There you go. He just confirmed when targeted individuals, when I say it, when other targeted individuals make videos saying it and saying taxpayers' money is going towards this torture of United States citizens or whatever country you're living in, the taxes that your country pays are going to your torture. He just said it. Let's hear it again. They're getting more bang for your buck, funneling tax money into it. But that's, tax dollars from citizens of our countries, that's like only one source of money, of finances for these contractors and manufacturers who develop these weapons.
They're giving the taxpayer the best bang for the buck. And as Dr. Griffin said about shrinking the process from idea, concept, signing the contract, to actually getting these weapons in the field. So we face these challenges on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, choosing between very important programs. But I believe that this program, that the Directed Energy Initiative, needs to be a priority. And I like what the budget looks like this year.
And I think that stopping the Directed Energy Initiative should be the priority, But I'm sitting here in my condo being hit with microwave weapons, and this guy is at the BoozeAllenHamilton presentation. That's the concern there.
And into fiscal year 19, almost $1 billion to move us from low to high gear in what we need to achieve and accomplish in this area. And we need you to be a key part of the advocacy effort. You're the experts. You understand this. And what I would just say is be active and involved, not on Capitol Hill, but out into the countryside too, where many of your facilities may be. And directed energy, I believe, captures the imagination of the American people. And it's important for us to leverage that.
Boy, what an ironic statement. Directed energy captures the imagination of the American people. And that's captured more of my mind than just my imagination. It's kind of battered my brain into where I don't have, well, I'm not going to say I don't have an imagination left, but really the stuff that the remote neural manipulation programming that they're doing is devastating. It's devastating to the personality. It's devastating to, to the memory, and that's what you use to communicate to people. God gives me strength, and, I've got some grit, but, man, I mean, what an ironic statement It's just completely like when these things are used on human beings, capture the imagination. Like it's just some wonderful thing. There's no downside to it. And these people have no responsibility to tell people of the downside of it and the dark side of it because they're trying to raise funds for it. So all that stuff about the, you know, probably in some of these, they probably did have presentations like for Department of Homeland Security there, where they did talk about like, you know, researching for non-lethal weapons use, which would, some of us, that would be the angle of the experimentation on us. That'd be one of the angles. Different programs and protocols, but I can't find that presentation. I'm gonna look harder for it.
Excitement into communities all across the United States, and the young people coming out of college now, for them to understand that we do want to continue to have technological superiority over these.
That really scares me when he's like, you know, and we need to teach these young people about these weapons and really, and listen to what he says coming up. He's like, get communities excited about it, bring it to a community level. And what does that mean, right? We're targeted individuals. We're getting nailed with directed energy weapons. People are getting involved in gang stalking in their communities. This guy's trying to make it this hopeful thing. It's a hell on earth. And if these programs aren't stopped and slowed down, or at least the torture, like, you know, I think the main thing is that everybody in the world needs to know what these things are used for, what they can do to people, and that they exist. And then some decisions can be made, you know, because maybe they're used in war or whatever, if it's a just war, which I haven't seen one of those since like World War II, which I still have questions about that being a just war. But just how they present this stuff is convenient. It's going to give communities a purpose. What they're doing to people with these things. How can this guy lie like that? Like, how? I question a little bit if he knows about the non-consensual human experimentation. But if he's on the directed energy caucus, he does. If he was picked by this other guy who, and I'll show you the other senator too, the senator from New Mexico, who actually founded the Directed Energy Caucus. But so that guy goes and he kind of handpicks these people that he thinks will be good and thinks that they can shut their mouths while people are being tortured and stuff like that.
Countries that are coming after us, and that it is a national effort, and that these young people need to be a part of it and get them excited about participating in government service or going to companies that are continuing to try to build out these exciting systems, whether on the military side or on the commercial side. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about what's happening here. We've got to find the common ground behind some of these programs and initiatives, and you're a big part of that, is not only people who are involved in this particular project, but also as citizens. We've got to reclaim the purpose of the United States. There are a lot of people around the world that rely on us. There are a lot of people in our own country that rely on us. So these investments are critical for us to continue down that road.
You see, that's what this presentation's for, right? You know, if they didn't need more money and more people getting interested in it, like say there's probably some ex-military guys like in the audience trying to learn more about the program, so they'll sign up. There's probably contractors that are going to bid on some of the research and stuff like that. And so they need investment. They need more people getting involved to support directed energy research. But this stuff will never be like, CBS will never run a report on this directed energy summit, because that would be letting the general public know about it, who would be very, very concerned, right? So the way that information, in an information war, they do want this out there on the internet to show people who are very enthusiastic about this stuff about it, but they want to make sure that anybody that could get concerned about it, it's not going to, you know, be that widespread. And that did any of you guys, besides me talking about the Directed Energy Summit, is this 2018? It says 2018. This is the two, okay, I'm sorry guys. Well, it doesn't matter. This is the 2018 summit. I'm going to play you a presentation from 2019. But did you guys know about this? Had anybody seen this? because we've really got to realize that this stuff is out in the open. It's just not going to be on the nightly news, right? We got to get as close to, and I wanted to show y'all a picture here. These are some of the servers here that they use. I want to show you, so that was from 2018. I apologize, guys, but it's kind of the same kind of stuff they're talking about in the 2019 one. I want to show y'all this. Go down the page here. Why is it showing the 2000? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This is from the 2018 Directed Energy Summit videos. The 2019 Directed Energy Summit videos have not been released yet. Okay. That's why this one looked really familiar, because I went over this one already. Oh, well, we'll play the 2018 one, waiting for the videos to come out for the 2019 ones. There's no, man, I can't believe that. I can't believe I did that. They're pretty much saying kind of the same stuff. Check this out right here, where it says solving directed energy operational considerations. This is a military guy, and he's got, like, you know, targeting goggles on. I'm not sure what those do. And then he has some monitors here. Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly what the team of people, like if you have a hive mind team with the automated systems hitting you, I'm not saying that's exactly what it would look like. They would probably be like more people, more monitors in a more comfortable setting. But I think that it would be, that's kind of the idea that I'm getting from my attackers, that there's monitors. Now I hear Brian too talk about like a chip that they can pull up a virtual, like a virtual monitors or something like that. But you've got to take into account that these are mass manufactured weapons, and they probably do use some, you know, some physical monitors and things like that to actually and like they get a, either, I would say a room, I wouldn't say a cubicle, but probably a small room where the different shift teams come in and out. If you do have shift workers. Now, some of you guys may be completely being hit by an autonomous integrated directed energy weapon system. You know, and I'm not sure because there's a whole lot of different situations, but for my personal situation, I know there are actually shift workers sitting there a lot. Because they'll say a bunch of different stuff, and you know, there's some examples. I'll make a video about that, of why I think that. Okay, so let's go to this. Maybe there's some 2019 Directed Energy Summit video highlights. I still want to go to Martin Heimlich, the senator from New Mexico, to his 2018 presentation. So is this from 2019? Okay, I'm gonna play because I planned on just playing this guy's presentation, but I'm gonna look at some of these and maybe do another live stream on them. But these are good. These are going to be good ones to find out information. They may not come out and say certain things, but we can learn a lot about who's doing this, how it's all connected, how they get these subcontractors, what BoozeAllenHamilton does for the Department of Defense. We can learn kind of how the web is structured of all these people, you know, working with these weapons. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Mind Control Christian. Mind Control Christian says, when I go to a food store, the manager stands at the shelf at the self-checkout and watches me. One manager turned around and bent over to show his butt at me as I walked out. Fusion Center alerts. I'm a thief. Yeah. Yeah. Carrie says, just read the document part, UK mod, so I sue UK civil servants. I do SRA require, see if any data held on me. Yeah. We got to look into it more. I'm trying to figure out how we can get more information from these private contractors, because you can't just send a FOIA request to what to the Frankenstein monster they've created. But the DOD, and I think that they do, even if you ask for information in a FOIA request from the DOD, I mean, I think that they justify it as not giving it out for national security reasons, but we still have to try. And like that video yesterday where Eduardo Colon worked really hard to get a lot of information about Alan Fry and the naval research contract that he was under. You can get information. So Steve Taylor says, Autumn says they are being controlled. Steve Taylor says this dude is probably being harassed. He has no choice or other options. I think a lot of these, I think a lot of these, like these senators, they have families and stuff. And I think that they think, well, okay, well, maybe people are being experimented on, but at least my family won't get hit with these directed energy weapons. I think they have this mindset of if you can't beat them, join them. I'm getting some kind of seat at the table, but they're not thinking it through, because the worse that you make society and the sicker you make society, your child grows up, and then because it's such a random lottery system of who gets targeted, say your kid grows up, is 20 years old, has to have like some kind of surgery, like a gallbladder surgery or just anything like that, and then they can get non-consensual non-consensual implants, and really at this point in time, I still think they do non-consensual implants, but I do think that we all have so much smart dust that is past between past the blood-brain barrier. So even some of these senators who are working in this, they've got smart dust. And the people with these directed energy weapons could target them at any time. So I think they're scared, blackmailed, maybe controlled themselves, like Autumn's saying, with remote neural manipulation and stuff. There's a lot of different ways they can. So this is from 2018. I'm sorry, guys. I'll do some other videos from the 2019 ones, or maybe pick out some of the highlights. But this is a really important one from 2018. Because he talks about kind of where they are in research and development for some directed energy weapons. Now, is he lying? Is he lying about them? He says they're in the latter parts of having these weapons ready to go out for soldiers to use them. But we know that soldiers already use them. We know that they're used, on Navy ships and submarines. But you guys listen to this. Tell me what y'all think. And this will be kind of the last one. It's only 10 minutes, so it's not too long. This was from 2000. I can't believe it. My brain's so messed up. Like I watched these. I watched the ones that I was going to show today, and I looked at the Directed Energy Summit 2019, and I seriously did not see that 2018, or I thought it said 2019. That's really messed up. So this is Senator Martin Heinrich, a Democrat from New Mexico, co-founder of the Directed Energy Caucus, and he's on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and they figure out budgets and money that they're going to give to the Department of Defense.
To one side, it's you can break us of certain things, but not other things, I guess. It's really great to be here today with my colleague Senator Hirono. We both moved over to the Senate from the House at the same time, and as she mentioned, we get to serve on the Armed Services Committee together, which I truly enjoy. And I share her concern about the dysfunction within our appropriations process and the challenges that CRs create for all of you and for many of us. I thought I would tell a quick anecdote to get a sense, just to give you a window of how we find ourselves in that position. A House member was recently overheard talking about this problem and said, we really have to get back to regular order. We need an omnibus, not a CR.
And for those of you who've been around for a few years, that probably sums it up. But it's great to be here today. I'm really excited about the momentum that we're seeing in this field right now. We are reaching a critical mass that I don't think we've ever seen before. Just in the last few years, we've really seen lasers into the field. The Navy deployed to the Persian Gulf with the 30 kilowatt laser on the USS Ponce. The Marine Corps Commandant General Robert Neller recently said that the Yemen coast was a, quote, live fire laboratory, end quote, for firing lasers. And
live fire laboratory, the Yemen coast, their use of lasers. Listen to that.
USS Ponce. The Marine Corps Commandant General Robert Neller recently said that the Yemen coast was a, quote, live fire laboratory, end quote, for firing lasers. And the Army has recently deployed a laser on a Stryker to Europe to help shoot down drones. And these developments are especially exciting for me because of how I started my career at Phillips Laboratories, now Air Force Research Laboratories. And I try to bring that.
So Air Force Research Laboratories, that's important, guys. That video that I put out 2 videos ago from Human Rights Watch 3, it was a contract from Air Force Research Laboratories. It used to be called Phillips when he worked for him. So he worked for some of these contractors before he became a senator. How nice, right? How nice.
That passion about where we can go next to my colleagues. And I think having Senator Hirono here, I just will tell you that the word is getting out to colleagues on both sides of the aisle throughout the Armed Services Committee and even some of the other committees like Intelligence, just what is possible and what you all are accomplishing. As a member of the House of Representatives, that was part of the impetus for helping to found the Directed Energy Caucus, because this incredibly important work was being done, but we need to do a better and better job telling that story. And as a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee,
what he means there, let's read in between the lines, do a better and better job of lying, you know, getting more people on board by not talking about the horrific nightmares that they've created for innocent American families and innocent families in other countries. From some of these contractors are global contractors. I think BoozeAllenHamilton is a global contractor, so it works with some of America's allies, their military-industrial complex. But it's funny these little phrases that they use. If you think about what they're really doing, it's pretty twisted.
Really tried to take
very twisted
that forward and continue telling that story and build a bigger and bigger cadre of advocates. As a quick reminder of what we've accomplished just in the last few years, think about 3 years ago, Congress finally granted rapid acquisition authorities for directed energy weapons. 2 years ago, Congress required that the Pentagon have a senior official entrusted with accelerating the transition of directed energy weapon systems into the field. And 1 year ago, Congress, we were able to establish a new $100 million directed energy weapon system rapid prototyping and demonstration program to hone our investments on the latter stages of development, which are particularly important.
It says latter stages of development. So that's what they're saying. They're saying that they're at the latter stages of development of a lot of these prototypes, probably non-lethal weapons, but also, you know, these weapons on submarines and boats, and like lasers and high-powered microwaves. I don't know. I kind of think he's lying, because these weapons have been operational for so long. I think it's a narrative that they're trying to sell to a lot of people who are working with these contractors, and also maybe a small portion of the public that does follow this. I just maybe they're in the latter stages of some of the more advanced weapons. I think they use weapons, they become operational, and they want to make them better, right? So you may be talking about the latter stages for like one set of weapons, but then they're gonna start trying to make prototype for even more advanced directed energy weapons, right?
At this stage of the game. And this year, I am going to be calling for the designation of a Joint Directed Energy Test Center for our country to support more rapid and cost-effective testing and fielding of these weapon systems. So it may be just me, but I don't think so. It feels like we're starting to feel some real momentum in this area.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm feeling the momentum too, and all the people watching my video that are targeted individuals, like, we're feeling some momentum on like how bad our spines hurt and, you know, our brains are being microwaved. We're feeling that momentum, Senator. Thanks a lot. Hey, could you stop murdering our families and murdering us? Thank you.
Momentum that all of you have known was possible and believed in for a long time, but it is really getting people's attention across the board. And together with many of you, I have been proud to see these milestones, excited about the direction that we're heading, and I want to talk a little bit about the work that remains to be done as well. We have a senior Pentagon official now, and he spoke at the summit this morning. Dr. Michael Griffin is the nation's first ever Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering, and the senior official entrusted with accelerating the development and transition of DE weapon systems. I think Dr. Griffin is going to be an incredible partner, not only because of his experience, which is superb, but because of his proactive approach to actually getting things done. That is what all of us want to see, and that's what we need right now for weapon systems like lasers and high-powered microwaves.
So there he said it, high-powered microwaves, and that's, you know, they're hitting us with all kinds of electromagnetic frequencies, but you know, I suspect that the microwaves that are hitting us do the most damage to our cells and everything like that in our brain. It's just very scary and creepy how he's like, you know, getting things done. There's a point in time when getting things done, if people don't have the right morals, where they're shifting moral standards and shifting loopholes that aren't even really laws, but it's just how they can get away with this stuff. Where getting things done, it means killing a whole lot of people, torturing a whole lot of people, destroying a whole lot of families. That's what, when I hear getting things done out of his mouth, think about how many of us and how many of our families are suffering 24 hours a day. And to this guy, it's just getting things done, you know. And it's horrifying, you know, when some of the population thinks that maybe they're just above. They don't really, you know, they're in another group, and this group can be killed so that their group can get things done. You know, that's a highway to hell right there.
Need senior level officials at the Pentagon to identify capability gaps and know where directed energy can be the solution. We need senior officials at the Pentagon to help push the Joint Requirements Oversight Council and the military services to recognize the added value of directed energy weapons systems when they write military requirements. And all of us here today know that DE systems have real advantages in terms of precision targeting, endless magazine, and cost per shot doctrine. We need senior level officials at the Pentagon.
Hey Badger, how you doing, man? Badger report says directed energy summit. Wow. Gangstar. Let's see. XX says movies and weird Middle Eastern imagery. I've had blue scenes played when I close my eyes. Not lately though, thankfully. Yeah, I have some very weird dreams sometimes. So Steve Taylor says 7 billion people is small change compared to supercomputers. Yeah. And I think that's so true. I mean, they're basically hooking people up like they would hook up cell phones to the grid. You know, that's what they're doing. And they'll have shifts and stuff like that. But, you know, I found just in my personal experience, the whole point of what my attackers are doing is they're trying to make it as automated as they can. And they want it fully automated so then they can move on to another targeted individual and have me thinking that they're still sitting there all the time, you know. Steve Taylor says, I'm lucky they don't hate me. They just don't care about me. I'm a valuable data asset until I'm a liability. I've already said too much. Oh, Steve Taylor, you need to make a YouTube channel and get the information out, because in some ways, guy, and this is for real, like my attackers punish me for getting information out, but it does seem like getting out in front of this and talking about it, it gives you a layer of protection to where people know you, right? And other targeted individuals will know you better. So your attackers have to be very, very careful about not killing you, because everything that you've said about it will then be confirmed. So it does kind of protect you from them just saying, okay, let's go ahead and do away with this person. But you do get punished with the torture. But everybody's got to make their own decision about that, you know. So gang stalking simulation says the population are the ones participating in this in these atrocious acts. They're the ones hitting us with EMF frequencies weapon. Well, yeah, I mean the population. I mean, well, it's like ex-military, ex-law enforcement, ex-security industry. They're all hooking up with these, you know, like say, okay, well, they're all hooking up with these contractors and subcontractors, but then they're getting all the regular public in your community, you know, is doing the gang stalking, and some of them may know, some of them might not know, you know, that you're being microwaved to death. We really need more solid information to find out what everybody knows. Like what the gang stalkers, like what this lady who's really gang stalking me now, what does she know? I mean, she's looking at me like I killed somebody in her family, so obviously she probably doesn't know I'm being tortured, you know, because she thinks she can be mad at me. Steve Taylor, XX, they don't care about you or you wouldn't be farting around on YouTube now. LOL, just joking. Yeah, that's you know, people ask me, they're like, if you're putting out true information, why don't they just kill you? And I said on one of my other videos, and you know, I don't know all the angles to this, but somebody has to be there. Like I've heard of some people going, like having a lot of evidence and going to a court case, and then they like hung themselves the day before or something like that, and it seemed like a very important court case. But you can get information out, and if it's a certain level, it seems that these programs and the people that are doing it actually kind of, you know, they've accounted for that. They're like, some of these people are going to speak out, and I don't think that every time it's like we've got to just kill them, because a lot of people don't believe us, right? You know, I love you guys who subscribe to my channel. I really do. And I hope I'm giving y'all useful information so y'all can understand, and some useful information about defenses and stuff. But you know, I think you know, on YouTube, I'd have to have like 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or something like that for them to even like think about like doing away with me, and that would just be thinking about doing away with me. I don't know. That's a guesstimate, but I think it's you know, how influential are you? And not how influential are you, how many people are you going to influence with the information? So you can be given, like I give tons of great information, very researched. I don't just, you know, I don't just talk off the top of my head a lot like I did at the beginning. But you know, even though y'all are awesome and smart and targeted individuals, and probably some non-targeted individuals do watch my channel, it's like they're like, well, he's not a big enough fish to go ahead and take that chance of killing him, because my parents, I've told them about it. My mom knows. So you know, then they would have my mom like taking some, you know, legal action. It would just it would cause a lot of problems. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. It seems like sometimes they're on the verge of killing me. It just doesn't seem like that's part. It doesn't seem like they have gotten clearance to kill me or anything like that. I don't know. I think it has to do with like how big of a whistleblower you are. It's like, check this out. Like, I think Julian Assange is being hit with remote neural weapons, but they're not going to kill him, right? And he's way influential. He has WikiLeaks. He has more information on the corrupt things that a bunch of military industrial complexes of all these different countries are doing. Now, I think they're hitting him, trying to screw up his mind, trying to torture him and stuff like that, trying to get information from him. but they can't just outright kill him in these mysterious circumstances, right? Because if they do, more people will look into it. And even though like Julian Assange is way bigger than me, right? Way bigger. If I have this little channel on YouTube, I'm making all these videos, right, about being targeted. Like I'm being targeted by neuroweapons. I'm telling everybody, I'm putting out all this evidence, and I die in some very, very mysterious circumstances, it would get a lot of notice, you know. It'd get a lot of notice, and people would go back and look at all the information that I put out as fact, you know. So we got to remember that it's, you know, I guess to them, murdering us isn't always the best option or whatever. Which that's good, because they're torturing me and doing their protocol and stuff, and I'll try and get as much information as I can out. Now that doesn't mean that I won't wake up one day and have a tumor in my head or develop Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's, you know, God forbid. And I pray against that for every one of us. But I think it's factored in. You know, I think it's factored in. And look at people like, you know, look at people like Robert Duncan, Barry Trower, right? You know, speaking out against this whole thing, and they're doctors, you know, and they actually participated in some of this stuff, like participated in the manufacture and the research of the weapons. Dr. Robert Duncan worked on, you know, Chatterbox, the Chatterbox of the V2K and the AI used to do it, and they haven't killed him, you know. So I don't know why they decide to kill some targeted individuals, and why some they just torture the hell out of them, punish them. With me, you like Brian too talks about this a lot. He talks about brain hobbling. Like that's, I'll go ahead and tell y'all, that's what my attackers are trying to do to me. My attackers are trying to mess my brain up so bad, you know, that I can't communicate with people. They don't want to kill me and make me look like I'm really sick, because then it's like it goes ahead and it basically proves what I'm saying. But if they can really affect deep brain structures and brain hobble me, then it's like people can be like, oh, he's crazy. He was always crazy, right? So it seems like my attackers have this protocol of, well, let's just drive him crazy with the weapons, mash up his head and his mind, so then people will look at his information and be like, oh, well, he was a babbling crazy person. Because remember, we're working with a war of perception, right? So if they can make me look crazy, even though all my information was good, but they make me look like I can't even communicate, then people because they're in this perception war, and they're like, well, that guy was always crazy. That's why he was saying crazy stuff, you know? So I guess just different protocols. But I have heard about a lot of targeted individuals, you know, being murdered. I can't remember her name. Can't remember her name. It's not Quartz Crystal, but Crystal Starheart, you know, jumped off or was pushed off a bridge, and she was making YouTube videos, you know. So, you know, it really sucks. And I just think that, I don't know, my personal beliefs on it is like the information's out. They plan for that, you know, and they just hide our YouTube channels. They shadow ban us. I think from day one, when I started putting out targeted individual videos on YouTube, you know, they were shadow banned for national security reasons, but YouTube hadn't even really put that big generalized protocol into effect of shadow banning certain with the information that's borderline, right? But I think from the first time I started making targeted individual videos, they were making sure they didn't share it with a lot of people. If somebody found my videos, they would recommend the videos to them, but they don't recommend them to a lot of people who don't know anything about my channel, right? I don't know. Let's finish up this presentation with Martin Henrik. I'm gonna look for some of the other presentations from 2019. I think that really with my, I see a lot of other targeted individuals, and with what my attackers are doing to me, I think one of the biggest protocols for people that have some influence or putting out good information is brain hobbling, is trying to make them look crazy with the gang stalking and stuff. So if they add that stuff in, people won't believe the information about neuroweapons. but to also make it so they're like, because if you see my videos, sometimes I'm like, man, what's that word? Oh, I can't remember this. I can't remember that. Like, unless you're a targeted individual and you experience that yourself, like say just some person that knows nothing about this comes to my channel and sees me going, oh man, what's the word for that? And just jumbling things up, and kind of sometimes like when my brain's not feeling right at all, I'm very random. Like I'll say something that doesn't really connect with the sentence I said before. Now somebody who's never experienced this sees that, they're like, oh man, this guy is crazy, right? So I think that's what I've seen in a lot of targeted individuals, like torturing the hell out of them, but also trying to brain hobble them, you know, which there's ways that we can defend against that. So no, I don't want to scare anybody. And it is like, I definitely don't want to scare anybody. And that's why I have a hard time putting out some of this information, because it's depressing and stuff. But there are ways that we can defend where they can't brain hobble us, where we can actually heal our brain. You know, so it's not a set in stone thing. You know, there's a lot of ways there's a lot of defensive things and stuff. I really do. I want other people to speak out, like a lot more people. I know there's some really smart people in my chat, and other target individual channels are putting out some great information. And I really do. I think if you just put yourself out there, and a lot of people start knowing, and I don't even know if you really need to say you're a target individual if you don't want to do that. But just putting yourself out there, I think that immediately makes your contractor say, okay, well, we can't just kill them, you know, because a lot of people know about them. A lot of people have seen them, and the information they're talking about, it's all going to be confirmed. But also with that stuff, we're gonna need to get more concrete information from the actual contractors, and maybe from the DoD, what certain protocols are with certain targets, you know.
To take ownership of directed energy in budget deliberations and program funding battles. We need senior level officials to speak up for directed energy when analysis of alternatives are actually occurring. And finally, we need senior level officials to help directed energy weapons systems cross the threshold from R&D to procurement. The threats are real. We know that. The capability gaps exist. Around the world, we're seeing this proliferation of relatively inexpensive threats from rockets and missiles and artillery and mortar and UAVs. In every war game scenario, these weapons are proliferating and threatening our ability to operate freely. In every cost equation, we face an unwinnable predicament in the current circumstances when comparing the inexpensive costs of rockets and UAVs and missiles versus our kinetic defense systems. We heard a little bit about North Korea earlier. They have an arsenal of countless rockets and artillery and mortar and missiles, and we currently don't have systems that can reliably and continuously intercept them at a reasonable cost. I've long argued that the question of what is our third offset should really be, what is our third offset for fill in the blank? In other words, what are we developing an offset for exactly? Because until we know the problem that we're really trying to solve, we can't truly be developing the offset. The proliferation of rockets, of cheap artillery, of cheap mortars, of UAVs and missiles, that is the problem. And directed energy is the solution. Lasers and microwaves can engage targets for pennies on the dollar with precision. In order to accelerate the development of DE weapon systems, Congress authorized a new directed energy weapon system demonstration program that I secured in the last defense authorization bill. And this program will be exclusively for high energy laser and high power microwave prototyping and demonstration so that we can develop the tactics, the techniques, the procedures, the TTPs for these weapon systems. Doing that will allow us to continue engaging the warfighter in the use of operational systems and produce military utility assessments. As I talked a little bit about earlier in this year's defense bill, I'm also working to establish a joint directed energy test center. our nation's infrastructure for testing lasers and microwave weapon systems is pretty antiquated. It's long overdue in need of modernization because, as many of you know, the Department of Defense established our first high-energy laser system test facility back in 1975. And as I think we can all agree, we have seen enormous advancements in technology over the last 4+ decades. As directed energy weapon systems mature, the need to validate their performance becomes increasingly important. And a joint directed energy test center could concentrate government expertise and support more rapid and cost-effective testing and fielding of directed energy weapon systems. Doing so would also allow the broad, standardized collection and evaluation of data to establish test references and support policy decisions in a much more reliable fashion. I think that, frankly, is the next major step forward for us. Before I finish, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you and recognize all of you for the work that you do on a daily basis to develop this technology in our defense.
When I was watching it the first time, I in my inner voice, I thought to my attackers, I said, or thought in my inner voice, I said, he's thanking you guys. He's thanking you guys. And the woman on the B2K said, turn it off. Like, turn it off. Could have been just the chatterbox, but yeah, it's really creepy. You know, I was just like, man, he's thanking you guys for all your hard work, torture and programming the automated weapon systems and everything like that. It's really sick. I mean, some of those weapon systems, like for shooting down missiles and things like that, I get it, right? You know, but there's a better way. There's a better way to develop like neuro weapons and not kill innocent people. It's just the ball's already rolling. So it's like we got to just get it out to people. We got to force these people's hands. We got to force these contractors' hands, the Department of Defense, all these in the Pentagon, in the CIA, the DIA, DARPA, all these people involved. We've got to force their hands and show so many people know about it that it's time to stop the experimentation, and then real rules of what you can and can't do with these things can be made. If it were up to me, I'd scrap them all, scrap this technology. I don't think that as human beings, we need to have this. I don't think our souls are evolved enough to have these weapons. But I think a lot of the people using them would disagree, and they're like, when you gotta break a couple of eggs to make an omelet, or whatever stupid thing they say to do evil. You know, so we're dealing with very, very different morals. From the people who have a lot of power and weapons, shifting morals all the time, whatever it takes, as long as they don't have to sacrifice themselves or their families right now. They have to sacrifice all of our families, they'll go ahead and make that sacrifice, right? When have you ever known an honorable soldier to not sacrifice themselves, but to sacrifice innocent families, right? And be like, well, we've got to do it. We've got to sacrifice these innocent families, as long as it's not them, right? That's called evil. That's called pure evil, and also cowardice.
Defense laboratories, at our test ranges, and at our manufacturing companies. Thank you for all that you do to continue to make sure that this country is safe. And I personally am convinced that directed energy will have an enormous role to play in keeping our military on the cutting edge of technology and keeping our nation safe. And please join me in continuing this process of educating policymakers and acquisition staff on what is possible with this directed energy technology.
Well, if you don't tell them that you're killing families with them, if you don't tell them that you're torturing people with them, then you're not educating them. They can't make an educated decision if you and people like you, Senator, go around and just tell them about the stuff, about the directed energy weapon lasers on boats and and high-powered microwaves that shoot down drones. If you don't tell them about the capabilities and what you're doing to innocent people, then they can't make any educated decisions about it. They can't make any educated investments, and that's what they do. They lie. And right there, that's one of the most immoral people on this earth, to say, hey, we're educating them and letting them know how useful these things are, but they refuse to tell people what they are doing to human beings, how many families they have killed and carved up, and kids that they've experimented on. This is a disgrace. And this man and this directed energy caucus, unless they're willing to tell the American people and the leaders of other countries, unless they're willing to tell people that they're experimenting on innocent citizens while they destroy their lives, then they are liars and they are treasonous. And that is period. That period. They are immoral. They are evil. This guy wants to sit up there and say he's protecting this country. My family's an innocent family. I know you guys in chat, you guys and girls in chat, you've got innocent families and yourselves are being hurt. And this guy is talking about protecting our country. That's a lie. That guy's evil. I'm going to show you,
I remain a committed partner, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
You remain a committed partner.
Thank you for having me.
Man, a really bad man. So sorry about, I thought those were from 2019. I don't know how I made that mistake. But I'm gonna find some of the footage from the 2019 Directed Energy Summit, and I really want to find the presentations on Homeland Security and how and see if they slip up, right? I want to see if like they get on the border of saying that they're using these on citizens. They might not say innocent citizens, right? Because they're going to be telling lies on that one. I think when people start to really, like, the public really starts to blossom its understanding about how these weapons are used on civilians in every country, they're going to start coming out with, well, those people got away with a crime, or those people did this, or they're that, so we have to use these weapons. I think that's going to be the next lie when people start to really figure this out. We got to figure out how to neutralize that lie quickly and get past that. And let people who are not directly targeted know that this is being done to innocent citizens. And the innocent citizens are also being harassed, followed around by jackasses, in the streets who have no military training and are really just like the worst of the worst, while we're being murdered. So it really, really makes me angry, but it's important information. It gets us, you see guys, even though they don't come out and say, hey, we're experimenting on innocent citizens in our country, and I'm sure some of you guys might be able to find some of the contractors if you live in another country. I know Autumn lives in New Zealand. There's probably some people from the UK and stuff like that. You might be able to find some of the some contractors that just work out of your country, and they might have some of these symposiums and stuff like that. So really, really check for that. And I'm really gonna search for the one on Homeland Security and see if they really slip up. But it's good to show this information because it shows that these weapons exist. It shows that they can hit any target anywhere. The precision of hitting electronics or any kind of targets, personnel, and they always mention that. They always mention targeting personnel and making it very, very specific targeting like that. So it's just more proof that this stuff is going on. But I think I'm going to stop it there, guys. That was my first live stream back. And we're all going to keep working hard, guys. If you want one of these shirts, go to stopgangstalkingcrimes.com. Is it GameStop? Yeah, stopgangstalkingcrimes.com. And I'm going to try and figure out a way to talk to a t-shirt company or something. Maybe get 3 or 4 really good shirts. And I think that's what we got. I think that's maybe the best way. We get the evidence of gang stalking and stuff, but on some days, wear this shirt around. Wear this shirt around when you know there's going to be people up close to you gang stalking you. So you can kind of tell, like, if they look at your shirt and they kind of look weird, like what am I doing? And they go look it up and you don't see them again, then you'll know that they don't know about this. If they look at your shirt and then they still keep gang stalking and stuff like that, you'll know that maybe they know and they don't care. It can at least confirm those things about it. But yeah, that's about it for today, guys. I'll be doing some more videos on this. On the 2019 one. And thank you everybody for coming. I'll be probably doing a lot of live streams, whatever my energy level allows, like when I find some. So Charles Hall says it's funny and true at the same time. What Charles Hall says, I just see mostly inbreeds and monkey IQs doing targeting. Yes, I agree. I agree, because they can't think. If they could think, if they were intelligent, they would not, just because our justice system makes mistakes. So when you're just doing what authority tells you to do, like, oh, okay, I'm just hearing it by rumor that this person did something wrong, yet they're not going to jail or something, and you go ahead and harass them and don't know anything about them, yeah, there's something wrong with you, you know? So Steve Taylor says, we are doomed people, but you are not alone. I assure you all. But yeah, it's very, I don't know. I think that too. I've been very depressed lately. And like, man, this is hopeless. It's too big, but our God is a powerful God. In the name of Jesus Christ, stick with God. Miracles can happen. Miracles can happen. Things can come out, things that we just did not see. So we shouldn't give up. You know, we shouldn't give up, and we shouldn't see things as hopeless. We shouldn't see things as hopeless, even if we can't stop this program like in the next year, the next 2 years, because I'm working with some defenses that don't stop it, but they do give me relief. They allow me to make videos and to go out and do stuff. So there's other stuff. So Carrie Mary says, my stress triggers off dental infection. Okay, so let's pray for Carrie Mary. Yeah, all my teeth are really bad too from being microwaved. And Autumn says, no, Steve, we are not alone. Yeah, guys, we got to keep hope, man. And I understand the hopelessness. Like I'm like, man, I can't even, if they were just attacking my body and destroying my body, but they left me my mind, like how my mind functions, and it was a little bit hurt from post-traumatic stress, I'd be doing a lot better. They can really, you got to realize that this remote neural manipulation can give you feelings that feel very, very real. They feel very, very real, like depressed feelings or like no sense of well-being. And there's things that, there's a thin red line between little things you can do to make your brain healthier and to get something introduced into your vestibular system, like this this direct transcranial stimulation. Now, one important thing, guys, and I'm going to tell you guys in chat and everybody watching this video, number one thing that you should do, and I'm not going to say Dave Case's CD, even though everybody should get Dave Case's CD, every targeted individual should try it, and you got to stick with it and try it. But also something easy to do, and it's not that expensive, get some grounding. Get grounding. Because this is a cumulative thing. It's a cumulative thing. So many positive ions around our head in these electromagnetic fields, making our skin more conductive, making the inside of our body more conductive. Then the weapons have more of an effect on you. They have more of an effect on your mind. So I ground, and we got to get heavy metals out of our system. Use Dave Case's CD. Those are 3 things that you can work on. I'm not doing the 666 thing, but those are 3 things you can work on, like, that aren't going to be that expensive. Stuff to get heavy metals out of your system, ground, and then Dave Case's CD. Trust me, guys, there are some things that you can try where it's like you feel like you're dying, you feel like you're going to die every day, but then you start working with these things, and it relieves some of the pressure. It's really tiring. Just being tortured all the time, even if you're defending pretty well, is still ultra tiring. But you'll notice a big difference. And Tortured Soulster says, this was outstanding, Kyle. I love all the vids that you make, and adding live stream is such great news. Yeah, Tortured Soulster, I had a live stream, but they took it away from me because I put, and I'll tell you what it was for. I think a lot of people know this, but just showing the 60-minute show about the China consulate attacks, that's when they took away my live stream for 3 months. And I think it was longer than 3 months. I may be wrong about that, but it felt like that. And yes, and so Tortured Soldier says, and yes, the depression is way beyond organic. It is so obvious once you catch it. Yeah, It is, and everybody has to know that. Sometimes you got to forgive yourself for feeling so negative, because some of it is artificial negativity, and it really feels like it could be coming from your own brain. I mean, this stuff creates signals that very similar to how our brain does. So Steve Taylor says, we are the underdogs to Lucifer, but Lucifer loses, as does his fart sniffing, booger eating followers. Love it? Yes, I love it. So A.74, hey man, anyone, I guess I wasn't part of that conversation. Okay, 8.74 says the Global Neuroethics Conference, go to homepage and check the speakers. Right. Did they push that back a couple of months? Shad Budge, when are they having that? Because I think they had to push it back. I'm going to check on that and make a video about it. I sent in my 5-minute testimony. I think you guys, anybody should still send a 5-minute testimony to Shad Budge. I guess just go to like Canada Neuroethics Conference. Maybe 8.74. Can you put the link in the chat? And Mind Control Christian says grounding works, bleeds off the dew from your body. Yeah. Yeah, it gets rid of the positive ions. And somebody, Autumn, was saying earlier that negative ion introduction. Oh, she's saying it right now. Okay. Autumn says Himalayan salt are great for negative ions too. Yep. Himalayan salt lamps. I've heard a lot about those, but I haven't gotten them. I haven't gotten one yet. XS says mentally imagine the pretty summer sun, new flowers, kids playing, birds chirping, smile and relieve that depression. Yes. We've got to get some positive things going on in our life. I'm telling you guys, probably when I start a video, I'll be kind of laughing a little bit. It's a nervous habit. So I'm sorry if I'm insulting you guys. I'm not trying to make fun of this topic, obviously, because my family's being very, very hurt by it. I'm being tortured by it. But it's just like, it helps me to relieve that tension, because I'm like, oh my God, I can barely think, and I got to present some information. So 8.74 says, hey, Kyle, clap, clap, go to Global Neuroethics 2019 homepage and check the speakers. Let's check that. Let's go ahead and check that. Okay, so, yeah, James Giordano is a speaker, but I think they're trying to get him there. I don't think that they have, I don't think he's definitely going. It's one of the speakers that they're trying to talk to so he'll come. So let's see if they've rescheduled it. Let me share my screen, and we'll see. I gotta go take that champagne out of my mom's freezer. Okay, let's see. Go to new. So Canadian neuroethics. Maybe be under that. That's not the one. Let's go. Yeah, because this is another one right here. This was May. Canadian Association for Neuroscience this was on May 22nd to 25th. The other one, the one that Shad Budge was running, was really near them, but they had to push it back for some reason. Let's see, neuroethics. Ethics Conference 2019. Here it is. Okay, so it's going to be on Saturday, August 3rd from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Global Neuroethics Conference 2019 at the Holiday Inn, Vancouver, 711 West Broadway at Heather Street, Vancouver, BC, Canada. Let's see if there's another link. Here we go. Let's go to the speakers. Okay, so that's good. I'm glad you said something about it. Because I didn't know when it had been rescheduled to. So August 3rd, guys. So send your 5 minutes. Look, and either donate. I might donate some money to him. But if you want to send your 5-minute testimonial, just do this. Just contact them. Put your name, your email, and say I want to send in a 5-minute testimonial of being targeted, of my targeting. And then he'll send you an email, and then you just reply and put your file in there, put your video file in there. It's good to just have that anyway, y'all. To work on like a 5-minute testimony and try and just sum up the worst. I know it's real. Is he going to be there? Is he like locked in? Wow, if he's locked in. Oh man, did he agree to go? Chief of the Neuroethics Studies Program, Pellegrino Center for James Giordano, PhD, is the Chief of Neuroethics Studies Program and Scholar in Residence in the Pellegrino Center for Clinical Bioethics. Professor in the Departments of Neurology and Biochemistry at Georgetown University Medical Center, Washington, D.C., USA. He's also Distinguished Visiting Professor of Brain Science, Health Promotions, and Ethics at the Coburg University of Applied Sciences. Just so weird because I know that he participates in using neuroweapons on people. Like he directs a lot. Like he advises the Pentagon on all of that. So it's very weird that he is the chief of Neuroethics Studies Program. Maybe he sees it going on. He doesn't like it, but he can't say anything about it. So he tries to have courses on neuroethics to maybe change it in the future. I like to think the best, but so okay. Well, this is who they say right here. Speakers. That's going to be awesome. Oh, that'll be awesome if he goes. All right, guys. So y'all go there and check that out, and also, I would just do a 5-minute testimonial, even if you're not going to send it in for that one. I'd send it in for that one, but just to practice, like practice writing down your testimony. There's probably going to be a lot of things coming up, rallies and stuff like that. So you want to kind of get ready and practice like, okay, how do I put all these years of torture in like a presentation or something? You might not have to give a presentation or anything like that, but I'm thinking it's a good idea to like write out things. And, we also need to be doing affidavits. Like I'm trying to get to that, but it's just such a daunting task. I'm doing a little bit at a time. And I really want to, give my affidavit to Dr. Horton and then use it. But I want to see if I can do an individual case and then still do. I want to see what I can do and not mess up an individual case for myself. So I'm trying to do all that. But all right, guys. Does anybody have anything they really need to say? Yeah, Autumn says to donate. They need our support. Yeah. Steve Taylor, this is proof that the devil is real. This and bedbugs too, LOL. Well, yeah, it's definitely proof that spiritual evil exists, and I guess that would be called Satan. I don't know. I was thinking about making a video. Oh yeah, your mod there. I need to make some more mods for this channel. I'm gonna kind of hold off on it since you guys came over here. Yeah, Art Deco says Dr. Catherine Horton is up on that. Yeah, somebody's asking if anybody saw her video today. I saw part of it. Dude, she did an interview with James Fetzer. And I don't even. They were talking about the school in Connecticut. And I don't know how she still has her channel. I mean, she said she just talks about whatever. I don't know how she still has her channel up. But the deal is, it's like she has backed up all of her information. You know, she's backed up all of her videos and stuff like that. So like she's more ballsy about talking about some topics. That's why I need to back up all my videos so then I can just not worry about it and just talk about whatever, any topics, you know, false flags and the school in Connecticut or whatever. Cola T says, how do we get people to believe what we're going through? And is there any medical testing for the dew and poisonings that some of us experience? Cola T, the University of Pennsylvania did a lot of testing on the Cuban embassy workers that got hit with this stuff and the China consulate workers that got hit with this stuff. And I think that we need to be trying to contact them. I have a DT, wait, what is it called? DTI MRI. It's for the white matter tracks, but my neurologist, somebody else wrote a report saying that they didn't find anything, and now my neurologist will not see me. Like I always, when I go, he puts me with his nurse practitioner who doesn't know anything about anything. And after he did that test, like he didn't say he wouldn't see me again. I didn't say anything mean to him. But he will not see me anymore himself, and I always get put with his nurse practitioner. So I'm gonna have to find another neurologist. And we're not at a point where they'll tell the truth about this. They see that it's something like this. They know that there's experimentation going on, and they don't want to touch it because they'll get in a lot of trouble because it's such a huge thing, right? But the University of Pennsylvania, I've called and called. I can't find the department to actually send my DTI in. Is that what it's called, a DTI? I'm not thinking very well right now, guys. Yeah, DTI MRI for your white matter tracks. That's a test you can get. People talk about nano patch tests, and I've never gotten one of those. So there are some testing that we can do. I really need to go to a doctor. I'm trying to figure out how I can do it in a clever way and not have to, you know, because if I talk about this, they may try and put me in a short-term behavioral center. But I really need to check and see if I have cancer. I need to check and see neurologically what's going on. But it's so hard to get a good doctor who will tell the truth. Very hard. So Mind Control Christian says eBay has earthing universal mat kit, ground mat with cord, EMF shielding therapy for $35. Yeah. That's earthing.com, right? Yeah, Art Deco says she is gathering affidavits. So yeah, everybody, you know, check out Dr. Horton's website. I'm sure everybody who watches my my YouTube channel probably watches her. But yeah, we need to do that. Like I have the affidavit, but it's just like so big. It's like I've been through so much, so I'm trying to do a little bit at a time. And I just want to find out, like, can I do my own individual case and send that to her and then still work with targeted justice, which I'm not hearing much about lawyers or anything. I've got to talk to some people who are, you know, I support targeted justice, but I'm not like, you know, I'm not on the board or anything like that. And I've got to figure out like how far along they are. Tortured Soulster, if you want to see the nanofibers and nanometals coming out of your skin and in your house dust, just get this for $12. That scope completely changed my life and my world. Wait, what? Tortured Soulster? It's like a microscope. We didn't see the link, I don't think. A.74, great film about targeting. Everyone should see. I'm not getting those links for some reason. XX, my handlers did some weird attack on me when I contemplated getting another MRI, indicating I should not. MRIs aren't going to show it though. The problem is that neurologists, they don't know enough to see damage to the white matter tracks or to see the specific damage, the neurological damage that these microwave weapons are doing, because it's doing it in a weird way. where it's not like your brain tissue. It's not like you've been hit in the head. So if they do an MRI, they don't see like, oh wow, there's a wound there. It's like damaging your brain and your neurons and everything over time. It's damaging it on this layered level that neurologists are not familiar with. But the neurologists from University of Pennsylvania are. They are knowledgeable about damage to the white matter tracts and very damage that other neurologists would not pick up on, you know. So we need to contact University of Pennsylvania. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be doing many more live streams. I'm gonna try and balance it out with some spiritual stuff. Maybe if some of you guys want to email me, if you find anything, like if you find any kind of spiritual thing that really made you feel good, anything, even stuff about targeting, go ahead and email it to me, vulcanwolverine@gmail.com, and just be like, this is really important, this really helped me, you know, and I'll make a video about it, because I've got a platform here that we need to use, and we all need to use it. I'm going to also be working on, you know, doing some, I don't know if I'd call them interviews, but just having some of you guys in chat or target individuals that watch my videos or other targeted individuals that have channels, getting them on here so we can talk about each other's channels and promote each other, because that's, you know, YouTube is definitely not going to help us at this point. So there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of healing to do. We need to heal. We need to stop this and just not give up. Because I feel that way sometimes. I'm like, man, this is hopeless. It's too big. I'm just going to enjoy my life and just trust God. But I'm like, man, you know, we can do this. Like, we can make some headway on this. All right, guys, I love y'all. Y'all take care. I'm going to tell y'all more about this pineal thing that I'm taking. Seems really good. Like, it seems like I have a lot of toxins in my body. It really messes up. Bye, Native Neuropterus. Thanks for coming. And Autumn and 8.74 and Steve Taylor, Art Deco, Cola T, Tortured Soulster. Charles, man, I'm going to text you, dude. We need to talk, man. Are you grounding? Well, we'll talk about that. I know you've been getting hit really hard, you know. And thank you, Autumn. Thanks for coming. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. I love y'all. Just stay strong. The rally, August 29th, worldwide TI rally day. You know, sometimes I want to say, like, we just need to take to the streets. But I don't. I think all of us are so sick from being targeted that it's hard to just, like, take to the streets every day. So I think we should really look forward to the Target Individual Day on August 29th and find whichever one's closest to you. I'll keep an ear out and see where they're definitely having rallies and in what cities, so that you guys can be like, okay, well, I live like maybe a 2-hour drive from there, whatever, and we can get to those. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. You know, thanks for coming. I hope this information helped. I'll be going over some more presents. Sorry about the 2018 thing. I thought these were from the 2019 one, but I'll show some of those presentations too. And God bless and protect all of you, and protect your families. And let's just stay strong, man. Let's stay strong. Let's trust in God. Let's pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Protect us all, to give us miracles, to give us strength, to give us new solutions, new defenses. He will. He will. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one.